reason. Weird. Right, here we go. Even I'm getting the start gate nerves. 15 board, 5-second board. Make sure it's in gear. Right, let's get that in. Wait till a few people start coming in. Here they come. Look, here comes the trouble. Here they come. Here they come. They're all coming in. Evening, everybody. Lee Ashby here for Motocross and Speedway Memories. How you all doing? Evening all. Phil Alkin. Hi, mate. How you doing? Right, I'll get my thank yous out the way first before we get into this. So, big thanks to the support to Simon Pardo of White Eagle Finance. They give quality financial advice for the pensions, mortgages, investments and protection. Check the website at www.whiteeaglefinance.co.uk. Big thanks to Stefan Everts with his S72 gin and vodka brand. Check all his amazing products out at www.s72gin.com. Also, a big thanks to Tom Brown of Motor Extreme, motocross shop in Marshfield, and also his Moto Part 46 practice track, which is off the M4 junction at Bath. Check him out for all your off-road needs, including the new 2021 Kawasaki's at www.motorextreme.co.uk, and you can phone them also on 01225 89 22227. Also, welcome on board to James Burfield of Even Strokes, online off-road shop. Check those guys out. They've got loads of great products there. Check them out at www.evenstrokes.com, and they're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. Right. On to my guest. Oh, got everyone's thick and fast coming on now. We're always getting on towards 100 already. Beautiful. They're in a hurry. That's the end of my jokes for the night. Here we go. Here's the comments about glasses already. Look, you can't help yourselves. I even had to pre-warn Paul before he saw me and did that. Like, who the hell is this guy? Liking the glasses. Yeah, basically, I've got them on. I'm supposed to wear them for things like phones and iPads and things, but I don't wear them really. But last night, leaning forward, trying to look at the comments all night, and my back was gone. So I'm going for the glasses tonight. Hello. What's up with the specs? Yeah, right, okay. Well, we're going to move on from that anyway, because you'll all be killing me otherwise. Right then. So I'm going to do my little introduction here. Get me 30 seconds. We're over 100 live already. Brilliant. Right, let's get the countdown going then. So, this man, British Under-21 champion, an Elite League winner, British League Div 2 winner twice, European Grasstrack champion, podium on the World Long Track Championship, an indoor specialist as well, winning the famous Talford Ice meeting, indoors at Brighton. There was a big one in Barcelona he won as well. 2 podiums on the British Speedway finals. Many British League clubs: Arena Essex, Peterborough, Kings Lynn, Oxford, Eastbourne, Ipswich, Wolves, Paul, Swindon, Kent Kings. The man himself, Mr. Paul Hurry. Let's bring him in. How's it going, Paul?
Yeah, good, thank you. You?
Yeah, great to see you, mate. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on, doing this.
No worries.
Good man. There's plenty of people already pouring in here already, look.
Oh, no.
Loads of troubles up. They swearing at me yet? Not yet. They're not swearing at me, so it's all good. So then, Paul, how's it going?
Yeah, no, not too bad. Good. It's just that sort of horrible time of year at the moment, isn't it? Nothing to do, and obviously with this COVID thing, it's a nightmare. But yeah, the best of it and just crack on, really.
Yeah, we're trying to entertain the people with some of these interviews as well, which is going down quite well, it seems.
Yeah, they are. I've been watching a few while I've been at DEP, and yeah, they certainly make the time go quicker.
Yeah, talking about DEP, so you, I didn't actually know that until you told me about it. So you've been working there, have you? The old DEP pipes?
Yeah, I've been up in Craighout for, crikey, I think it's sort of 4 or 5 years now.
Is it?
Yeah, so I'm there sort of most days, so it's pretty cool.
Right, okay. So how long's that been going on, did you say?
About 4 or 5 years.
Do you enjoy that?
It's different, but it's been in the same environment, isn't it? It's sort of doing something towards the race bikes and
around
meeting new people, and yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
Fair enough. Right then, let's get into some questions then. Let's get some information out of you. Right, I'll start with a question of my own. How did you get into Speedway, and what was your earliest memory of the sport?
Well, obviously I first got into sort of riding because of my dad. Rode for quite a few years, and that was on grass track. And he obviously worked for Don Godden for quite a few years as well. So did my granddad. So it's sort of a natural progression, really, just sort of riding bikes, and then it comes to a point. I think I was probably about 7 or 8. I used to play quite a bit of football.
Okay, yeah.
And I remember it was on a Saturday night. His meeting had been cancelled, and he was laid in the bath. And he said, "Do you want to ride in a grass track meeting tomorrow?" And I was meant to be playing football. And as soon as he said that, obviously that flipped the switch, and that was it. Yeah, game over, and we went and rode on the bikes. So yeah, that's how sort of I first got riding sort of grass track. And then I think that was in '84. And then I think it was the first meeting my mum took me to, because Dad was still riding at that point. So on the Sunday morning, he went off to his meeting, and Mum took me off to mine. I think I'd done practice, and if I remember rightly, my gear lever, the bolt come undone. So it was spinning around on the shaft, and like Mum, yeah, no, she's not a mechanic. Never has been, never will be. And it was Mark Lorom's dad, Paul.
Oh yeah.
Lesson. He come over and he offered to fix it, and fixed it, and that's how we struck up the sort of friendship with sort of Mark and Paul. And then it sort of developed from there, really. The following year, Dad sort of said he couldn't concentrate all the time I was riding and he was riding, so he quit, and then I started riding most weekends. And then the second year, that would have been '85, and then in the second year, obviously being '86, we'd sort of become a bit more friendly with Mark and his dad. And yeah, Dad sort of sponsored Mark with Dad's old 350 engine. They had it converted to a 250. And yeah, it rolled on from there. And then Mark, he gave me one of his junior grass track bikes, which Dad converted to a speedway bike. And that's how it sort of rolled on from there. I became the mascot at Hackney in '87. And that's when that's when the speedway started. And
who were the guys sort of riding with you at grass track and that, and Paul, around the time you sort of started all that and everything? Was there any other speedway?
Yeah, I mean, at the time in '86, when we all started getting really competitive, or when I sort of started getting competitive and sort of a bit quicker than what I was, because the first year I was absolutely useless. I used to get to the corner first, and by the end of the first lap, I was way at the back. But then as I started getting quicker, sort of when you went to the Nationals and the British Championships, you had people like Glenn Cunningham, Phil Morris, a guy called Dean Camia. He's the cousin of Leon Camia, the World Superbike rider. People like that. So it's always pretty competitive, because like there was me and Dean from the southeast, and then there was Glenn and Phil from sort of Wales and Bristol. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Good times. I'm going to put this up on the screen. Stephen Zetterwaller put about your Swedish speedway look in '99 and 2001. I'll let you pronounce the names of the clubs.
Medina, it was blinding times over there, and that was all down to Mark as well. He got me into that team because obviously he rode there as well, and brilliant times.
Do you enjoy the tracks in Sweden?
I do, yeah. Although I wasn't really that great on the big tracks. I was always sort of, obviously with my grass tracking, I was always sort of cool with the trickier tracks. But I was actually, when I was riding out there, it was on the old Medina track. And I had quite a few good meetings there, so it was quite cool. And it's quite funny, really, because we had an individual out there, and I didn't really expect to do that great. But I think I got to the final, and I think I was either second or third. And Peter Coulson, PK, he won it.
Oh yeah, did he?
Well, obviously, like after I've had my accident in 2010, obviously that was it. I couldn't do it anymore. I think it was 2012 or 13. He phoned me up. He said, "Would you be my mechanic?"
Did he?
So I was like, yeah, no, love to. So that's it's just a small world, isn't it? And it rolls on in different directions.
I'm gathering what Stephen's put there. Was you there with Mr. Stone here as well? Is that right?
Yeah, there was me and Stoney. We sort of swapped each week. It was him or it was me.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I think in the team at the time there was Mark, Billy Hamill, Scotty, Magnus Zetterstrom, Kenny Olsen.
Bloody good team, man.
Yeah, it was quite good. Yeah, that was good.
Very good. What riders did you look up to and idolise when you were young, and why? And did you ever get to race any of your heroes?
Yeah. Well, to start with, it's crazy how it's all sort of gone. The early days, I don't know if mum and dad have still got them, but my first ever school book, all it had were pictures of a speedway rider, and that was Barry Thomas. Because dad used to take me to Crayford every Tuesday after school.
Right. Okay.
So that's all I wanted to be with Barry Thomas. But then as time went on, I sort of got in the gist of things, and it was always Simo and Wiggy.
Simo and Wiggy. Did you like the old green Wiggy setup and all that? Did you? Or?
Everything with Simon was it was perfect, wasn't it?
Classy.
And obviously, where Dad was a rider and he sort of knew Simon, when he came to Hackney in '87, it all sort of fell in place, really. Obviously, Malcolm and Wiggy were there, and I was mascot. So it was like your big heroes that had come to ride your speedway team.
That's really
and then obviously, as time rolled on, and I started riding, and obviously, I was never in Simon's league, really. Not until the sort of later years. But with Malcolm being sort of pretty local as well, he helped me quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I owe him
what was that like being helped by him? What was that like being helped by him as well?
It was awesome. Not just through Speedway, but just sort of everyday life, really.
Right. Okay. So he's like a bit of a mentor in that way.
Definitely. If I had a problem or I was stuck and didn't know what to do, I'd phone Melt, and we would I'd either go up there or he would come down to me. And when I had my accident and I was living at Mum and Dad's, the first people to come and see me was Malcolm and June.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So that was a nice relationship then. That was good. Yeah,
it was brilliant, really. And that's really sort of what he said to me after my accident.
Yeah.
About riding again. He said, "It's like if you want to ride and you've only got one shot at life, you just got to do what you want to do." That's what I do, and that he got me into trials riding as well.
Oh, you had to go at trials as well.
Yeah, that's
good for your old technique, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant. It's just relaxing. I know it's funny to say relax riding a motorbike, but it's safe, isn't it? And it just keeps your bike fit. And throttle control and balance is
So you did that a lot then?
Yeah, hell of a lot.
Oh, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that.
Sort of, I suppose I got, was it 97? I think I had my first trials, right? 96, 97?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were sort of out every Tuesday, every Saturday. Then through the winter, we'd go out Saturday and Sunday, meet up with Malcolm and his son-in-law at the time.
Yeah.
There's probably sort of 7 or 8 of us, so it was pretty cool. All of them rode grass track and speedway. So
I used to when you used to get the old trials and motocross paper every Friday. I always used to see like your Dougie Lampkins and all that, wasn't it? Always winning the World Championships and British Championships and stuff like that. Some guys like that.
It's pretty cool. I even got my name in there once because I think it was the Walker Cup at Windlesham. I won that.
Oh, so you did some actual competition with it as well?
Yeah. I'm still doing now. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, that is cool.
Fair play. I didn't know that. Tell me about your dad a bit then, because he seems a great character, and I've been speaking to him quite a bit over the last few days. He's full of the knowledge, great contacts. He's sort of like right in there, and he knows pretty much everything there is to know. Really cool guy.
He is. I hate to admit that.
You're saying about that, yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't be the person I am today without Dad, what he's done for me.
Amazing.
But he's got like a brain like an elephant. He never forgets stuff. And
Yeah, he knew more about you than you knew about you.
Yeah. If he says something, I have to Google it to make sure it's right. And
yeah, try and catch him out.
Yeah, you never can. And like with Speedway and grass track, he's to the point, and
he's brilliant.
He just knows, I suppose. He's a bit like, obviously, last night, John Davis, and they're good mates. Everything he says, you listen to what he says, and you think, nah, he's obviously my dad. So you sort of think, nah, can't be right. But sure enough, it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's been around it sort of most of his life. And he knows what's what and what works, really. And I suppose the amount of years he's been around, that's what sort of helps, I suppose. He does say it how it is as well. He won't mess about.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a couple of times when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was a kid. I was probably 13 or 14. I used to ride with a dead straight leg.
Okay.
And at the time, I was riding Kajivas, and Mike Carter from Husky Sport, or Kajiva Sport at the time, used to help me out. And for some unknown reason, the kickstart used to come off. He used to start the bike up and have the kickstart. And every time I come in from the race, he used to whack me across the back of my left leg because I wouldn't bend it.
Yeah.
And I used to think, well, why? It won't make a difference. But then when I started doing it and getting in the good habits, you sort of think, yeah, he was right.
Right again, look for.
Yeah, it's just.
It's annoying, but it's
yeah, no, it was for my own good, really, because you see some people when they're riding, they've got straight legs, and it does cause them injuries and accidents. And so, yeah, I can't fault him. He was right again.
He's been amazing. He's been hooking me up with contacts and all sorts.
Yeah, he does. He loves it.
Yeah,
he's a what is the word?
Passionate.
Definitely, he's just in his blood, through and through. And
I absolutely love having chats with him. I've literally been talking to him most days lately, and he's rang me up and stuff. It's been really good.
The best thing is to get pictures and try and catch him out, especially old grass track ones. But
no, it won't happen. Yeah, even my brother tries that with me with some pictures from the old days, and I get all that as well. Tell him the helmet, the gloves, everything. I'm a bit of a freak with that sort of stuff as well. Right, I got James Monster Brown, I think this is his profile, but he's James Brown. Can you ask Paul, can he remember he took me home after being taken ill at Ipswich? He is a top man. Do you remember that?
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
James Brown.
I can vaguely remember, yeah. I've had too many bangs to the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember something like that, yeah.
Right. Okay, I got another one here who's there's no name on it, but at the end he's put all the best from Artie, so I hope you know who that is.
That's a funny story as well.
Yeah, he's already come out. He's put, "Hi Lee, Mr. Hurry, Paul, tell me some good story about the South Africa tour, nightclub special, ping pong match in the workshop, who was winning, all the best, Artie." So who's this then, Paul?
Artie, he's this is a brilliant story as well. He's Attila Stefani, he's a Hungarian rider.
Oh, right, okay. Interesting.
Well, I met him when I went to South Africa, done the tours out there, obviously, him and his brother Lartzi.
Yeah.
And when we come back, Dad obviously come out for a couple of weeks as well over Christmas. And Artie he's quite a good, he's a really good speedo rider. Both of him and his brother are twins as well, so they could get away with murder. Dave Pavitt, because we're obviously pretty friendly with Dave Pavitt as well. And he's the one that obviously got me into Hackney and so on from there. And I think he was running Oxford at the time. And he said to Dad, "Do you know any sort of riders that would be willing to come over or, sort of step in reserve at Oxford?" He said, "The only decent ones I know, sort of Attila and Lartzi."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Have they got any English parents?" Or he said, "I'm not too sure." He said, "But here's his number, give him a call." Well, Dave obviously went off and done what he had to do. And then he phoned Dad and he said, "Yeah, Artilla's going to come over. Could you pick him up from the airport?" So obviously Dad said, "Yeah, I'll get Paul to go and get him." So I went to Gatwick. I'm waiting for him, and he went probably an hour. There's no show of Artie.
Okay.
And then there was a tannoy, a message come over, would someone meet and tell us Stefani, please make yourself known, blah, blah, blah. So I went to the thing, got him through, and yeah, we've come home. And then sort of Dave's had his meeting with him. Artie's come home. He said, oh, yeah, I start riding on Friday. He said, at Oxford. So I was like, oh, right, cool. He said, but my name's Mark Frost. So I was like, okay. He said, it's one of my relatives. So I was like, right, okay. Cool. Just, yeah, whatever, just get on with it. So Artie rode for Oxford and he done all right. He had a couple of sort of spills and I think he broke his pubic bone, which was a bit sore for the old boy.
Sounds naughty.
Yeah. And yeah, he was living with us. And once we'd got the bikes and that washed, well, to be fair, he used to wash most of them. And he's pretty good. We put a board across the bike benches, and that was a table tennis table. So that's where we got the ping pong from.
Right, okay.
Well, anyway, he done that, and yeah, poor sod, he broke his pubic bone, and he went back to Hungary, and that was it. He never come back. Well, then it must have been probably 10 years later on.
Yeah.
Dad was at work, and there was a scaffolding company across the yard. And a bloke comes across with this young kid and said to Dad, "Here, Graham." He said, "This bloke knows one of your mates. He's sort of into Speedway." He says, "Oh, right." He said, "Who do you know?" And he said, "Dave Pavitt and Lance Pavitt." He's like, "Oh, right." He said, "What's your name then?" He said, "Mark Frost."
What the hell?
And he's like, "Oh, right." He said, "Yeah. I sold my passport 1 year."
No joking.
No. So
Jesus Christ.
That was quite, it was just like pretty freaky that he walked across the yard. And,
that is weird.
Yeah, that was cool. What harm did it do? It didn't do no harm at all. It was just another.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That.
Right, I got John Flatman. He's put, "Hi Paul, where do you see the next generation of grass track riders coming from?"
Evening, John. It's a difficult one because obviously there's not a lot of youth grass track going on at the moment. Obviously there's youth speedway going on. And Neil Vatch is doing a blinding job of that. But it's I don't know the answer is to that. The ones that we have got, obviously they get to a point and go down the speedway route. I mean, back in the day, there was sort of 2 clubs in the southeast, which was Kitra and the Southeastern Youth one. That was every weekend. It was alternative weekends. And they had enough riders to do that, but at the moment, there's not enough to do that. And it's frustrating because obviously being a DEP, you see the young boys go out and buy a motocross bike. And we have practice tracks around here, obviously everywhere does. And you buy a motocross bike for sort of what, 15, 2 grand. You go down there and you pay your 25, 30 pounds and you can ride all day. And then you come home and you cover the air filter up, blast it off, and then airline it off, WD it, put it away. That's like an hour, you're done. But you've rode it all day and you feel knackered and you've had a good day. Where it's very difficult to go and buy a grass track bike, and then you can't just go and ride it willy nilly. And even if you bought a speedway bike, you go to a training school or practice day, and you pay your 40 or 50 quid, and you probably get 7 rides, 8 rides tops.
Not very
that's 7 or 8 minutes, but then you've got to clean it for sort of 3 or 4 hours, and you're sort of thinking, hold on, it's a bit different nowadays.
Not value for your money, as it were, in that sense.
Exactly, and it's just easy for them, isn't it? There's so many practice tracks around now that. But going back to John's question, I don't know. We can only sort of try and keep beating the drum and putting on practice days when and if we can, and you just hope things pick up.
I've got Dean Chapman's just come on. He's put, hi Paul, with the decline in Speedway, could a kind of Champions League help like football, or Barry Hearn take over to revamp the sport like he did with boxing, darts and snooker?
It does need something. I do think that it does need someone independent to be in charge of the BSPA. I know, I'm gonna get slated, or because you just say what you believe in. And a lot of people are afraid to say that. But yeah, something does need to be done. When you look at what we had, and I'm thankful that when I sort of was riding, I did have sort of the good days. Although even then, the others used to say it was better back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But when you sort of look back then to sort of the British finals at Coventry and that, and you look at them now, it's not the same.
No, there was some special days then, weren't they? And the atmosphere at Coventry was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, the build up, it was a proper occasion.
Proper,
But I think we do need to get the top riders here, but to get them here, that's a different story, isn't it? It's got to be attractive, and obviously you need the money to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how they can do it. Obviously, we need to get over this sort of academic at the moment, and
it's a bit of a nightmare. You can't plan anything, can you? That's the trouble.
No, exactly. And then, what situation are we going to be in with sort of Brexit? How easy is it for riders to come in and do that? But it's at the end of the day, the promoters have got to do their job and promote the sport.
Promote,
And
got to get it out there.
Listening to John last night about Matt Ford, he does it right. He done it properly, done it right.
Did a great job, didn't he?
Exactly, and Terry Russell, he does it right, and Chris Van Stratton, and Len Silver. I know people say stuff about Len, but he's probably the oldest. Well, he's the oldest promoter there, and he's still running the show, and it's still working. So I think it's as soon as they sort of start promoting the sport properly and doing it right, it's gonna.
I know personally, the Swindon guys are sort of pushing hard with the Swindon as well, and trying to get the stadium redone and things like that as well. So
exactly, it is, and it's between Swindon and Paul. I know obviously Paul dropped down the league now, but you know, it's done right. When my time at Swindon, you couldn't fault it. And even being there with young Zach, you know, it's a proper club. But again, they're having to rent the stadium.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, that situation, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's such a shame. I mean, I go to Sittingbourne most weekends, most Sundays. And it's a brilliant little stadium, but it's governed by the council. Yet when you look at the Polish ones, the council are behind them and helping them.
Yeah, pushing it.
But there they've got a curfew from sort of 6:30, I think it is, or 6 till 8:30 or 8 o'clock, and they've got to be finished on the dot. Well, after time, if there's a couple of accidents, which in the league that they were in, you're going to get that.
Yeah.
They failed to meet the curfew. Yeah. And then obviously that was it. And people, they don't want to go to a meeting and not see the end of it. And
no, it's not.
You just think, what? No.
That's not terrible. Like you said, there's curfews, there's those sort of problems, and obviously there's a lot of housing now coming around stadiums. It is at Swindon. It's like the pit sort of pretty much backed up onto a house.
Yeah, and when you think as well, like back in the day when you could get to a meeting without much grief, but nowadays wherever you go, like for Lakeside, it's probably 25 minutes away without no traffic. I'd have to leave at 4:30 to get there in time because of the traffic at the tunnel.
Yeah.
And people, when they come home from work, they don't want to be sat in traffic just to go and watch a speedway meeting.
Yeah.
It's just got to be more of a pleasure, and I think it would be better to run on a sort of a Saturday evening. everyone's had the day to sort of chill out and relax, and looking for something to do on a Saturday evening under floodlights, a better atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they're, like you say, governed by greyhounds and all sorts of things, aren't they? This.
Yeah.
As a kid, I went to Swindon on Saturday nights. It was brilliant. It's not a school night, is it? People tend to not to maybe working then, and shifts and all that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, and you've got the Sunday morning to chill out and do what you want. But there's been so many missed opportunities, isn't there? Like with Coventry.
Yeah.
And obviously seeing the pictures last night of Lakeside getting demolished.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It's shocking, isn't it? It's a bit of wow.
And yeah, obviously the first place I rode was Hackney, and to see that go was
it's not good, is it?
That's great. It's just unreal.
Bit of a heartbreaker, isn't it?
It is, because like even now, I look back and I still sort of think that the days when I was sort of riding on a Friday evening at Hackney and then Saturday at the training schools, they were probably up there the best days of my career, sort of thing.
Yeah. I've got someone that's put hi Paul. It says only a Facebook user. Hopefully they'll get to register themselves. I don't know who that is. After that, I got Mr. Ollie Allen come in. He's put good evening, Hustle. Huzzle. Sorry, not Hustle. Huzzle. Is that a nickname? Is it, Paul?
Yeah, that's a nickname. It's a local family, Alan and Joe Sanford. They're brilliant people, hearts of gold, and they nicknamed me that, Huzzle.
And he put a grass track and speedway legend, one of a few that could do both.
Try to.
Yeah. Actually, I hope Ollie's still online. I'd love to get Ollie Allen on as well. It'd be a good one. I see he's doing the Team GB joint manager with Steady.
Yeah, no, it's good. And he's another one that's come up through the grass track ranks, him and Steady. You know, brilliant kids. And yeah, and look what they're doing for the sport now.
Yeah, very good. Breath of fresh air, the two younger guys doing that. And I enjoyed watching Ollie at Swindon as well when he was at Swindon, Ollie Allen.
He was brilliant. It's a shame he didn't go a little bit further, because he had more than enough ability. And
he had all the ability,
and he's so smooth as well. And the same with Steady when I was at Swindon. He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he was right up there. But some of the times in E13 and 15, there was Lee and Steady, and he was on form then.
Nice to see Ollie come on. We'll get to speak to Ollie. It'd be good to get Ollie on. Would be a good one. Got Mark Southam. He's put, when Dad finally slows down, will you run Astra?
Probably. But
weren't sure about that, were you?
I'm not totally convinced at the moment.
Okay.
Mainly because there's not that many. Like John said, there's not that many characters around.
Yeah.
To get at your meetings. And it's very difficult getting the top speedway riders there because of Poland.
Yeah.
So it's one that, it's obviously going to have a lot of thought. Sometimes I would like to. Sometimes I see what Dad has to go through, and you think, maybe it's coming to the time when something needs to be done different, or I don't know at the moment.
Put you on the spot there a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, I put there.
See a lot of thinking going on the spot.
It's I've given it some thought, but not that much thought at the moment. Obviously, still guiding. Yeah, Dad's been doing it. Crikey! Well, since I started Youth Grasstrack, 1985, he was helping with the bonfire burn up. And actually, he's the one that come up with the names, the bonfire burn up and the Battle of Britain. Because I can remember to this day coming home from school, Dad's on the phone, saying, "Oh yeah, you should do this, and we should call it this." And then we used to go down to the track and paint the fence boards. I was only 7 or 8. I used to have a little bit right down there and blast around Collier Street, and so it's always been. I've never known any different. Dad's always been doing something.
Yeah.
With a club or running his own sort of meetings.
Involved, yeah. Yeah, very interesting.
We need to keep him interested, otherwise he'd be like an unleashed monkey.
Yeah. Paul Renault put AKA Mark Frost, so he obviously knows about that story. That's a classic. Who's the next one? Has put Craig Smee. He's put that wouldn't work as there's not enough riders. Some riders ride in several leagues. Jason Doyle, for example, rode in several leagues.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and obviously what Poland are trying to do at the moment, limiting them to Poland and one other league.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, yeah.
I mean, that's it's a difficult one. When you see it from both sides of the fence, obviously they've got to go, it's their job, and they've only got a certain amount of time to earn as much money as they can. And obviously we need them here to make the show. So it's going to be a bit of a catfight, really. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the outcome is. I mean, I wouldn't have thought legally that would stand up, but
yeah, is it sort of denying you to earn money, as it were, or whatever? I don't know how that works legally.
Yeah.
When I spoke to John about it last night, he didn't really agree to that, but I sort of said like people were looking forward to this season. Like you had Jason Crump making a comeback, Nicky Pedersen going to Sheffield, Kildman was coming back to Bellevue, I think it was. Everson was back. There's quite a few guys sort of come back, and everyone was quite excited for this season as well. That's why it was a bit of a killer with the old virus and everything.
Yeah, it would have been good to see. Yeah, I mean, we do need them. And yeah, like with Jason and Nicky coming back, you know, it just creates that interest, doesn't it? And it's
straight away.
I mean, obviously to get Ty and Bartos and Freddie back here, it will be a tall order, but yeah, it's what's needed.
Yeah.
But how?
Yeah, I think, like, say for instance, Nicky Pedersen, I think there'd be people would definitely go out on that basis alone, probably.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think British Speedway's got a lot to sort of thank Guy Nicol at True Plant for, because I think he's had a key role in that.
Yeah.
And again, it's people like him that are coming into the sport and want to see the sport succeed. I've seen it before with Stuart Douglas at Lakeside. As keen as anything, but they don't get looked after.
No.
And you know they're putting a lot of money into the sport, and I think with Ipswich and Guy, it's totally different. And obviously Chris Lewis, he knows what to do. And he's been there, seen it, and done it, and he's got a lot of respect for people. But you see the people that come in and sort of put money in, don't get the respect back, and they leave, and it sort of leaves a sour taste in people's mouth.
Yeah. But even like down Ipswich, they did work on the track, didn't they? Changed it a couple of times now.
Oh, it's unbelievable! Like when you go there, what it used to be. I mean, it's brilliant. And it's like John said last night. Some of the stadiums you go to, you think, really, it's a professional sport, but there's not a lot of sort of money going back in.
No, it needs it.
Yeah.
Okay, got Nath Monday. He's put, Paul, during your career, what was the worst injury you had, and who was the savage who took you off at that time?
Like that, I don't know what's worse, really. Obviously, I broke my arm at Bellevue in 2003. That was my own fault. I should never have gone because I had flu, and it was only me and Dad. And I dosed myself up on paracetamol, whatever I could take.
Yeah.
And I wasn't with it. And it picked up, and it was just the year before air fences. So it's picked up.
Yeah.
As I've got it down before the fence, I was chasing Jason Crump at the time.
Yeah.
I went under the fence, but the bike went over the top, and it got me. So it broke my arm. So that wasn't a very good one.
No.
I spent 2 weeks in hospital with that as well. But then obviously the worst one was when I broke both my lower legs and dislocated my knees.
Bloody hell.
That was in 2010. That was because of a guy called Richard Spicer. He just come across the corner.
Yeah.
And I was sort of around the outside, and we met, and he put me up the fence. And at the track we was at in the south of France, La Rivalries, you're going quite fast, so you can't really hit the fence at that speed.
No.
And I remember it's clear as daylight, as I've hit the fence,
yeah,
the bike's come up in the air, and I've sort of thought, shit, because when it comes down, my throttle is going to be on top of the fence.
Yeah, oh my God.
Not good. No.
Not good.
Lights went out then.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I was like, it's quite good really, because my lights went out, but the acrobats, yeah, it's quite impressive. I think it's on YouTube actually.
God, I'm going to be on that now after checking that.
I did get a move on, yeah, and then I was just gone for a little while.
Bloody nightmare.
And Dad was there then.
Oh dear.
He was one of the first to me.
Was he?
Yeah, and yeah. When I think now,
not good for him. Mm.
No, what I've put him through.
Yeah.
You know,
scary
obviously. Yeah. At the time, you don't think of that, but when you've got children of your own.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, no, there's no way I could do that. No way.
No, it's scary. People even say to me, "Would you let your daughters ride?" No, definitely
not. No,
it's
a difficult one because obviously I've got 3 children, Brandon, Ruby, and Molly. And when Brandon was probably 6 or 7, he had a grass track bike and a speedway bike and a pit bike.
Yeah.
But he never rode them. He didn't want to ride them. He rode the little pit bike around the garden and he had a bit of fun. But there was a time when we were at the grass track putting it all up. I think it's for one of the Masters, I think, at Dad's track. And there was a few people sort of around the field helping. And Brandon's on his little monkey bike at the time.
Yeah.
And he's riding around. And I had one of my mechanics and Dad's sort of left-hand man at the track, Keith Potts, with me. Yeah. And we were putting up the starting gate. And we could hear someone whistling. And Brandon's going around the track. And I'm thinking, he's going quite quick. And he's full track, this little monkey bike.
Yeah.
Only a 70, so it don't go that quick anyway. But he was going all right. And he goes by. I said, Keith, can you hear that whistling? Who is it? Well, as he's gone round, as he went away from us, it got quieter. And then when he come back, it was getting louder. So I've called him over. I said, what are you doing? You're riding my bike. I said, well, are you whistling? Yeah. I said, why are you whistling? Because I'm bored.
Because I'm bored.
In the van.
That's brilliant. And
that was it. I don't think he's rode a bike since then.
Wow.
Oh, no, as he went to ride it to the van, Dad stepped out in front of him. He pulled the front brake on, so the front tucked.
Yeah.
I had a go at Dad, and that was it. Game over.
Oh dear. We can give a shout out to the kids and the couple watching, aren't they?
Yeah, Ruby and Molly. They're online in Brighton. So
hello, Ruby. How you doing?
One of them's at college, one of them's at school, and the other one's at uni. So.
What's it like seeing Dad on the screen?
I've been giving me grief now.
Yeah. Even my youngest daughter, who's 7, she goes like, Dad, you're on YouTube. Get him to like and share my stuff. Bless her. I love it, don't they, the kids? Love it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's good for them or not. They get embarrassed.
No, I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah, so they do that cringe thing. Right, I got Gary Phelps. He's put Huzzer. I've always said, yeah, Gary Phelps. Basically, there's a story of that. We basically lived in the same street in Swindon.
Really?
And yeah, we went to school together, grew up together. He was obviously doing grass track and speedway, and I was doing motocross. Yeah, so we grew up together.
That was brilliant. Yeah, brilliant lad. He was obviously a couple of years younger than me and Glenn, so I think we was in the 150s or the inters, and he was in the cadets or the juniors.
Yeah, because I went with him a few times to grass track as well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good as well.
Yeah, but I've always said the BSPA have always strangled the sport,
and they're still doing it. Yeah. I mean, you need. I mean, yesterday I said to you, Lee, didn't I?
Yeah.
I commented. I said Speedway would not be in this position now if someone like John and Wiggy had taken it or been chairman of the BSPA.
Yeah.
You know, it's yeah, people say you don't know about, but at the end of the day, when you look at those two, and just the presentation of how they were, and you look at John now, you know, what he's got is just unbelievable. And really and truly, when you look back, he was like a bit like a rock star, really. People don't like it because he was on TV, he was doing it, but that's what he was doing, and that's what it's about, isn't it?
There and all that, wasn't it? Got all the sponsors out there, and
exactly, and it's what British Speedways needs.
Would you be ever interested in something like that?
In the BSPA? I'm on the Speedway Control Board, but I have to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
Because, I'd quite easily offend them. And, I don't think I would be able to do that because I say what I think, and, it's likely they don't like that.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And you only get out of life what you put in, and we're here for a short space of time.
Yeah.
So you come in this world with nothing, and you leave with nothing. It's what you do in between that makes the difference. And
that's right, mate. Yeah, spot on.
Yeah,
we'll leave that. Right, got Craig Smees put, I think it needs an independent person or body to come in, but it needs to be backed by Speedway people, whether the body includes former riders or something. Otherwise, it would be a farce. So pretty much what we're sort of been discussing. Right?
Yeah, what you just said. Yeah. It does need someone independent to make those decisions, because you see it time and time again. They make a decision, and you can see that it's only been made, and they will benefit from it in some way, and it's not right.
No. I've got Dave Wright. He's put, are you still going to race grass track next year?
I'm hoping to. I would have. I would have. I had an operation on New Year's Eve last year to rebuild my right knee.
How's that now?
It's all right. It's good. But that stems from back in the crash I had.
Yeah.
I've had an operation sort of every 2 years since then. But no, it's going good. I don't think really it's strong enough or fit enough to do a full grass track meeting as of yet. I've been practicing on my speedway bike a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I normally sort of get to the 5th or 6th go, and it starts to ache and give me one up. So I have to sort of sit down and be quiet. But I'm hoping I'll get out cycling and when I can in the gym. So I'm hoping to get it strong enough to have a skid.
Where do you practice speedway then?
I go to a local track, Iwade and Lid. Brilliant little places. I mean, Iwade has been there since I can remember. It's another story. Dad used to work for Westlake, the factory, when it was in Rye.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, Dad had a 350 grass track bike and a 500 grass track bike. And at the time, Barry and Ivor Thomas, who sort of made Iwade, they still had it. And Dad took his bike up there for Barry to try around the speedway track. Oh, excuse me. And I took my little grass track bike. I think it's my little grass track bike or my little lighted jet motocross bike. I can't remember what it was. But I was riding around then. I don't think there was a fence there then neither. But when they'd cut the track into the ground, I was that small, I couldn't see over the sort of dirt where they cut it into the ground. I can still vaguely remember that. So that's it's quite funny when I go back there now and have a skid around.
Memories of that, yeah.
It's just like it's always been there in my life. It's
that's nice.
A safe haven, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly that. That's nice. Got Matt Stevens. I know he's involved with Reading Speedway. Good old Matt. Nice to see you, Matt. Thanks for making evening, Matt. Yeah. Who's the best rider you've ever raced against? Ooh.
I don't know really.
It's a difficult one.
Probably. I don't know. Wiggy's always above. He's the top of everything in my eyes. But then again, when I was youngster, Dad used to go out screening, and he used to come down at weekends and ride on a Friday at Hackney, Saturday, and then we'd do a junior grass track Sunday.
Yeah.
So when I rode against him and Mark, I wouldn't say I always wanted to try and beat him, but I always wanted to be close to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably them two. And I think I'd done one. I don't know if I had a race against Hans Nielsen, I think it was, in '91 when we done a challenge with Arena Essex v Oxford.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was starstruck. There was no way I was going to drop the clutch same time as him, because I'm sort of watching what he was doing rather than what I should have been doing.
Yeah.
So probably him as well. But yeah, mainly Wiggy. And to a degree, sort of riding with Simo as well when he come back on the grass track.
Oh yeah.
That's another, because he obviously helping me and with me gates when I was 16 and 17.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably all my life really. I was always better on a grass track bike than what I was a speedway bike. And he always used to get to the corner before me. No matter what I'd done, I could try as hard as I could, he would get to the corner before me. And even to the day he died, bless him, he always said, I can always make And obviously with the history behind him and everything. Even Wiggy. Yeah.
That's awesome. Got Phil Alkin. He's put, real shame to see Arena Essex being demolished. You were a great rider for the Hammers.
Yeah, I mean, to see that last night, it's just, it gives you that gut sinking feeling, doesn't it?
Yeah, not good. Not good.
No, and although it was my home, really. I always, even when I wasn't there, I always looked at what they were doing, and it's just demoralising more than anything. You always sort of, until that point, you always think maybe something, a miracle can happen. But again, I'm not so sure the last promoter in there helped it. That probably helped it on its way. So yeah, if it was a successful track, like Paul was, I'm pretty sure it probably would have still been running up until they started to knock it down. But again, there's not a lot there's a lot I can say, but I can't really say that.
Okay, no problem. Jonathan Kemp put, hi Paul, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right, John. Good. John, he comes to Dad's grass track and helps out. He's a good lad.
Top man, he come on there. Nice to say hello. Ricky Sanford put, all right, Huzzle, are you up for a beer when the pubs reopen?
He knows I am. He's only down the road in the next village, and he's rode junior grass track, and he's just come back recently to riding grass track, and he used to ride for the Hackney Juniors and for Arena Essex as well.
Right, okay. He's put Jackie Priest put, hi guys, got on here at last. Jonathan said that. Jonathan Colethorpe, he's put, which tracks were your favourite speedway tracks? And was there a track you dreaded going to?
My favourite one would always be the old Hackney. That was
okay.
That was brilliant. And that's where I grew up. So I sort of learned everything on a Saturday afternoon with Bert Bush doing the track. Terry Heath, he used to pick us, send us out in groups.
Yeah.
And it was, when I think back now, how it was on a Saturday afternoon where people could just turn up, pay their money. And it was absolutely brilliant. And you had Kathy Pope, bless her, in the tea room doing the cups of tea and the ham and cheese rolls. And it was just the camaraderie that went on as well. And and like, we used to ride all day long, and Bert might have graded it once or twice. We used to water it quite a bit. So the slick got watered as well. So no matter what you'd done, it was a bit skatey. And I'll never forget one time we was going round there, and Bert's out in the middle of the track with his golf clubs. And I think it was me and it was Ben Howe. Remember Ben that rode?
Oh yeah, Ben Howe. Yeah. I remember Ben Howe.
We sort of grew up there practicing, and we're buzzing round, I think. And all of a sudden, there's a golf ball on the inside. So then you sort of had to go around that one. Well, then the next lap round, there was one further out. And you had to, it got a bit a bit sketchy at times.
Yeah.
Bless him.
What about around Europe? And did you have a favourite track around Europe and ones you didn't like either as well?
Not really. I rode for Czestochowa in Poland. I like that place. That was quite good, and that was a big track. Funny enough.
Was it?
Yeah, that was quite good. Smedina, the old Smedina was quite good. I used to enjoy that place.
Yeah.
Not really. They're all pretty decent. There's a grass track, Osnabrück in Germany. I quite like that. That was a bit of a trick track. And then Marmande, a grass track in the south of France. That was always pretty decent.
Yeah, I rode that one.
But yeah, none of them. I didn't really have a bad track.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, there was one. It was one a bit iffy. Yeah. It was in a place called Celle in Germany.
Okay.
And if you ever speak to Screen, you'd have to ask him because it was like just black sand and deep.
Oh, was it?
And if you shut the throttle
taken off everywhere, yeah, taken off.
Well, as soon as you shut the throttle, you got a speed wobble on. You had to keep it on. Obviously, being 17, I didn't get the gist of that.
Yeah, it's a bit sketchy.
Yeah, but yeah, no, probably the only iffy one. But I didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
If there's a track there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just get on with it.
So obviously, you was a sort of throughout your speedway, sort of a bit more of a small track specialist, as it were.
Yeah. I did, because I suppose it's sort of being in the southeast. Really, all the tracks are small.
Yeah.
But looking back now, I really should have probably, when I had the chance, gone into Poland and Sweden more.
Yeah.
But at the time, I sort of had a lot of grass track in Germany and Holland, and Poland. They wanted me to stop that. Obviously, being on Sunday, but obviously, that's where I've come from.
Yeah.
So it was always going to be a bit of a tough one to give that up. But looking back now, I've seen it many a time now with sort of some of the riders that you see. Like you see Edward Kennett and Lewis Bridger.
Yeah.
There's a few others. They got so much ability and they could have went so far, but because they were good on the little tracks and didn't really want to come out of their comfort zone of going to Poland, and I know Lewis did, and he done quite well out there. But you've only got to look at Robert Lambert, really, what Robert's done.
Yeah, he was based over there a lot, wasn't
he? Yeah, he's been on the bigger tracks, and when you watch him, or when I've watched him this season, like he's going places, and he's got the right style, the right attitude.
Yeah.
He's sort of disciplined, and he respects people.
Good future. Seems a nice lad.
Yeah, and he's come from grass track as well. So going back to what John said, there's a lot of most of the riders have come from junior grass track of some sort of nature.
Yeah, it's almost like an academy of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and he's worrying where it's going to go from here.
Yeah, exactly. Matt Stevens has come back on again. He's put, "Hi, Matt Stevens here. What's your biggest achievement in speedway and grass track? And P.S. Paul is a legend."
Legend.
Legend.
Biggest achievement? I don't know, really. I mean, it's just being one. Right from back since Dot, I remember going to my nan's place, and I could only been 3 or 4. I used to put white Ticos in my head and say it was a white helmet colour and race around her front room on my little trike thing because I wanted to be a speedway rider.
Yeah.
So it's been difficult, really, because all I ever wanted to do was be a speedway rider and have 2 bikes and my own set of levers. That's all I wanted. and I achieved that. And anything really else that I'd done was a bonus, I feel.
Nice.
And it's quite funny because there was a video posted yesterday, I think it was, on Bob Ruffles' videos, Bob's videos.
Okay.
And it was a grass track at Collier Street. And all I ever wanted to do when I was a kid, you know, when you used to get the chicken wishbones.
Yeah.
I sat then and just wished that I could have 2 350 and 2 500 bikes in my own leathers. That's all I ever wanted in life, was that, and a speedway bike. Anyway, I was watching this video, and it dawned on me what I used to wish for. Well, at this grass track, it was wet and shitty.
Yeah.
And I had 2 350 bikes and 2 500 bikes, and I think Dad rode as well. And I rode all five bikes got rode. And I'll never forget Monday morning going into the workshop and there's 5 dirty bikes sat there.
Yeah, shit.
I remember that and I thought, you idiot.
Yeah, it's not so cool now.
No, it's not.
Yeah, doing that. Wow, where do I start?
Yeah, 5 bikes to wash on a Monday morning wasn't. No.
Yeah, that's not good. Right, I got Paul Renault. He's put, I've been to a few tracks. Paul's been all over the place. Where would he say was the strangest grass track or speedway? Trelawney for me. Speedway on the Moon. Speedway on the Moon.
There was a time when I was 16. We got, I think it was Brigo again as well, because Dad and Brigo are really good friends, and it was when he had the Hall of Fame at Doddington, and I think they had Grand Prix on that weekend.
Yep.
And he wanted us to go up there and do a demonstration. And it was me and Andy Galvin and Roman Matusak. And they'd marked a track out in the car park, but it was like chippings, black chippings.
Yeah.
And so they marked, and we rode around there all day long. And that was brilliant. Like we raced it. It's quite good. And yeah.
I didn't ever go to Trelawney. Went Trelawney in a bit of a sort of like an quarry or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it was in a quarry, yeah.
I didn't. I've seen it obviously on videos and stuff. I didn't go there, but
no, I never went to that one. There's a few that I've not been to as of yet. Yeah.
I think Chris Harris was there. I think, and I think even Zagar.
Yeah, Zagar was there. Bomber was there. Yeah.
I think Gary.
I think he might have rode from as well.
Yeah, I think Phelps was down there. Yeah, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, no. It actually, Brigo, he mentioned that. It was a couple of years ago. Another story.
Go on, yeah, I love story.
I don't know if you've seen that. I had to have a cage on my arm.
Yes, I did see on your pictures when I was stalking you.
Well, that year, or that around about that time, Dad organised a charity. What do you call them? When you go on an enduro bike, green laning.
Oh yeah, green lane. Yeah.
He spoke to Barry, and Barry said, "Oh yeah, I'll get one of my mates to come with me as well."
Okay.
But it turned out to be Mark Webber. So
nice.
Down the road from me, there's like a transport cafe. It's like pretty crappy.
Yeah.
Dad said, "We're meeting there at 8 o'clock. Can you be there?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll come down." But obviously, I wanted to ride, but couldn't because I had my arm in the cage.
Yeah.
So we was all in there. Me and Brigo were there having a bacon sandwich. Mark turns up and has a bacon sandwich in his like trucker's cafe in his Porsche outside. And then these blokes have walked in. They must have done like a double take.
Yeah, done that.
Eating a bacon sandwich.
Yeah, is that really him?
And they went out and had they rode from there, from the gliding club at Charing to somewhere else. And then they were going, I met them at the pub there, and then they was going to ride to somewhere else. But in the meantime, Brigo had been riding, and a branch had flicked back, and he had his Wolf Sport crash helmet, but he had the visor up. And it caught him on the end of the nose, and it pulled his nose up, but it tore the cartilage there.
Ooh.
So it was bleeding quite a bit. So I've met him at the pub. We've had dinner, and all the time he's with the hanky, and it's smothered in blood.
Jesus Christ!
And he's like, "I'll carry on." I was like, "Brigo, you can't because it's damaged it quite a bit." So someone took his bike and he jumped in my car, and I took him to William Harvey Hospital, and we spent 7 hours there.
Bloody hell!
But that was a bit of a surreal moment, really, because I'm sat in the waiting room with him, and then when they call you out, like Barry Briggs, and you're thinking,
wow, wow. was going to say, I'd be like that if I walked into the cafe. I'd be doing that. Is that Paul Harry?
You know, you got Brigham and Webber then, me. Johnny.
What's that like hanging around with the heroes?
Yeah, it's cool. They're just normal, aren't they? Just like us, really.
Yeah. It's been weird for me, like obviously growing up in the sort of 80s and 90s and then watching all you guys and all that, and now I'm like speaking to you guys quite a lot on that. I've not quite got used to that yet, but I've been told you're only just humans, but
yes, that is it. You are just I'm just a sweeper up or a DP, me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's cool, and you just get on with everyone. You have a laugh and a joke. Like I said before, we're here for a short time and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice to be speaking to you guys. I've got Chris Hare. He's put, Paul, who would you say would be most desperate or keen to beat during your speedway career? Cheers, Chris.
Me to beat them or them to beat me?
I think, are you keen to beat?
Me to beat them.
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah.
Do you know what? It's really difficult because there was only a couple of times I went to the start line, like really wanting to make the start, like desperately. And that sounds a bit wrong. But there was a time in South Africa. It's quite funny. There's so many stories from there. But the first time I went, I was sharing a room with Chris Manchester.
I remember him at Bellevue. Yeah.
He's brilliant. He's a really good mate. And yeah, on the little tracks, it is so stylish. Yeah, very good. No one could beat him. When we got to the fight, because you'd done your 4 rides and then a final at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And he won all his rides, and it was about the 3rd or 4th time that we'd sort of rode, and he won every time. And I really wanted to make a start off of 4 just to piss them all off.
Yeah.
And I did. I made it and got to the corner and it picked up and I went wide and he shot around the inside. But that was the only time I really wanted to make it off of 4.
Yeah.
And I did. I don't really know anyone else on grass track. There's a few. I never know one in particular. I just wanted to win the meeting, and a couple of times, people know that the red rag to the ball sort of come out in me, and I've done something silly, and no one really. Sometimes if you get a rider that you know, or they keep looking and turning left on you, that's when you think, right, here we go.
Do you know what? I swear that's what happened that time when I said to you the other day, didn't I? We were talking, and I said, I remember when you was riding with Swindon. I travelled to watch Swindon at Coventry, and you were riding with Swindon, and that's what was happening. I think someone was literally turning left on you on every straight during the race, and I think you ended up coming off together. And I just tried racking my brain trying to remember who it was, and then you definitely got irate.
There was a couple of them.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
If they kept doing it, I don't know. Do you know? I think it goes back to the Hackney days with Andy Galvin.
Yeah.
Because I always sort of used to look up to him because at Hackney he was unbeatable.
Yeah, I remember.
And I remember on the first turn he used to go up the banking and then turn back and get his wheels in line and come into the 3rd and 4th corner. He would just come in hard and sort of park it, and they would just sort of go off. And I always thought, you've got to be sort of aggressive with them. Maybe sometimes I was a little bit too aggressive, but sometimes if I felt they were doing that and they kept turning left and right and they were doing it deliberate, then I would just keep going and we paid the consequences, I suppose.
Yeah, that would get you that one.
Yeah, it's just there's no need for it.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been
dangerous enough, isn't it?
Yeah, I've done it, and afterwards you feel such a prick. You don't enjoy it, and obviously now looking back, there's times when I've regretted doing things like that, but you can't turn back the clock, can you?
Well, these things happen, don't they, in the heat of the moment and all that. Callum Marshall's put Lee Ashby asked Paul. He went to the Telford Ice Speedway in the old rink, in the old ice hockey rink. Did you you liked all that as well, didn't you? All the indoor stuff.
Anything different. Love it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because where my dad used to work, and Mark Lorham vouched for this, it was quite a big workshop because Mark worked there for a little while as well.
Oh, right, okay.
And it was back when they done the first one in Manchester in the GMEX Centre.
Okay.
I think that would have been about 91, I think, and I was 16. Well, Dad's company moved from there. And that was CTD, and you'd probably see it on some pictures of Mark and Joe, CTD Transport. And that was Dave Lloyd Dewins and his son, Paul, who used to ride for Mildenhall and Rainer Essex. And they moved, they left the workshop empty, and Dad still had a set of keys. So he said, "I know, if you're going to do this GMEX thing," he said, "we're going to practice in this warehouse." I know, he must be fucking mad. It ain't that big. Anyway, he changed all the sprockets on the bike, and I think he put two paint pots out. He said, "Right, now go around there." And I'm like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "Well, I think he actually spoke to Jan Anderson in Sweden as well, because obviously he was pretty good at the Wembley one."
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And he said, "Do the opposite to what you normally do." Well, I'm 16, I'm thinking, what is he on about?
Yeah.
He said, "When you go in the corner, nail it going in the corner to get it to spin, and as you come off the corner, shut the throttle off." So I'm like, okay. So I started doing it, and I got the gist of it. But as soon as you shut the throttle off, it was like a missile. It just took off because obviously the wheel stopped spinning and you're on concrete. But yeah, I got the gist of it, and we got going. But then we got to the GMEX Centre, and it was obviously all the sort of Sam Emelianenko was there, and obviously I'm there with Mark and Joe as well, and obviously where we've grown up and had fun as kids. I'm at home, so we went out for practice, and there's me, Joe, and Mark practicing, and I'm keeping up with Mark. And I'm like, this is cool, going around, and Joe's behind. We're all going pretty quick, and we've done that a couple of times. And then I think Dave Pavitt he had something to do with the organisation of it. He came out and said, "Paul," he said, "you can't ride." He said, "because a couple of them have complained you're only 16.
Oh, wow.
And but I don't know what would have happened if I'd done it. I'd probably wiped them out.
16/too good.
It's only because like we're just having a bit of fun, but right from the off, it always interested me doing those ones. Because obviously when Dad worked for Don Godden, when the Godden engine first came out, Dad had a lot to do with it with Don, and obviously he was working with John Davis as well, and they went to all the indoor ones at Wembley. And I'll never forget, I don't know if Don's son Mitchell remembers, but we had to, obviously Dad and Don were in the pits with the riders, and we had to go and sit in the stands with our mums. When as soon as the last races finished, that was it. Me and Mitch were off down into the pits, and our dads have got us in. Well, then we've just legged it straight through the pits out onto the track. And when we was at primary school together, and we used to run around the playground playing speedway. Well, that was it. We're onto the track, and we're running around the track. And you're just thinking,
I love that.
Idiots.
Yeah.
It'd be nice though to see if people actually see two little kids doing that back in the day, and what we actually got up to.
Yeah, that's great. Times doing all that.
Yeah, going back, all them sort of indoor tracks and different shape things.
You said there was Brighton was one as well, wasn't
it? Yeah, that was really good. That was obviously, I think it was Bob and John Cook, mainly Bob, that put that on. And that was always a good experience. At the time, I was obviously, my ex-partner was from Brighton, so all the family and that was down there. And at the time, I was working in the winter months. I was working at the track at Eastbourne. And Roy and Darren Progers that work at the track, we would always go out, and Bob would get us to spike the track, dig all the dirt up off the track, and then Mick Robbins of Robbins Haulage down there.
Oh yeah.
He would put it through like a sieve and break it all up, and then that would get laid for the indoor meeting.
Oh right.
And then it would get taken up again there, sieved again, and then put back on the pile, and that's what they'd use for the the following year on the track.
Oh, right.
So that's
So you're involved in all that as well.
Yeah, so it was a good experience really, because like all my mates on the track, and I was having a skid round it, and no, it's cool.
Nice. So what was the ice like then, compared to obviously the indoor on the concrete, as it were, wasn't it? What about the
that
ice?
was pretty different.
Yeah.
I found out. The first time I'd done Telford, I went there with me lay down.
Yeah.
And we just flattened it right off.
Yeah.
Knocked the timing back, put a big jet in. Thought that'd be right. No, not the case. I think I got about 5 or 6 points. We fell off once or whatever.
Yeah.
But then when you watch what they were doing, it's a totally different ballgame. The next year I went there, I had a Westlake, and we done some alterations to the engine to make it flat. Then after that it worked, and I got a little bit of grip and was able to win.
That was a nice one, huh?
It was, because I think I had a runoff with Mario Giroux.
Oh, yeah, I remember Mario.
And I don't know if I think he won it the previous year. And
he's quite a colourful character as well, isn't
he? Yeah, he was bouncing around. So it was quite. And I think Thomas Gollop was there as well.
Was he?
Yeah, I'm sure he was, because I remember him he picked up a snowball and launched it at Mario to try and calm him down a bit, I think.
Yeah. Because didn't you you mentioned something about you did one in Barcelona? There was a big one or something as well, didn't you say?
Yeah, that was that was another Brigo meeting.
Yeah, I remember your dad mentioning that.
That was in the Olympic basketball hall, and it was a supporting thing for the World Indoor Trials round.
Oh, right, okay.
Obviously, the Spanish love their trials.
Yeah, that's some good ones, isn't there?
And at the time, obviously, Dougie was, I don't know if he's winning the World Championship for the second time, I think. But their top rider was Mark Colomay at the time.
Yeah.
And Amos Bilbao. And our other rider was Grant Jarvis.
Yeah.
Well, me and Graham were sponsored by a guy called Roy Francis, a Smart Honda. And a lot of my career is to do with Roy as well. He obviously helped Mark Lorham and Malcolm Simmons as well. And he's another one with him and Malcolm.
Yeah.
With them behind me, I couldn't really go too far wrong.
Yeah.
And it was actually Roy's son Keith, one of my best mates. He came out there with me. And it was quite good. It was they laid a clay track around the trial sections. No one really expected me to do anything, I don't think. There was Brian Anderson, Scotty, Chris Louis, Ben Howe. I think there's a couple of Americans done it as well. I can't remember who it was. I don't remember who done it, really, to be honest. Another one where I forget.
You need your dad there.
We went out for the final, and they were like, well, you're going to be lucky if you finish, I think it's 5 or 6 in a race. You're going to be lucky if you finish 4th or 5th. Well, I made the start and cleared off. I thought, well, I'm not going to hang about. Yeah, and I won that. So
that was nice, huh?
It was, because it was packed.
Yeah.
I was a little bit paid off though, because I bought a brand new Oakley baseball cap on the way out there in the airport.
Yeah.
Stood on the rostrum, and Cheggers, me mate, because all the trials riders were throwing their caps up to the crowd. He's like, "Go on, throw your hat." So I just threw me hat. It cost me 20 quid.
Oh shit! Yeah, that was a nice one.
No, I'll never forget that. And then afterwards, we all went out for something to eat with Graham Jarvis and his crew, and it was pretty cool.
Very cool.
So,
one in Barcelona.
Yeah, and obviously it was at the time when I just started riding trials as well. So, sort of to be amongst all the trials boys and see
I suppose you were loving that. You were loving the trials, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's like a kid in the toy shop.
Yeah, it's pretty wow, isn't it? Some of the stuff they do and some of them technical things and. Yeah,
because when you watch them, and obviously being there back then, they were bad enough then. You're looking, shit, he's not going to go like that, but they were. And when you watch Tony Bow now, what he does is remarkable. It's not human.
No.
And even sort of Alex Wigg, Simon's nephew.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some video clips of him at a place, Hookwood, which is a local place to me.
Okay.
And some of the things he goes up, you're like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
It's just like 7-foot walls. But yeah, it's
remarkable. When you go out on your trials, do you try some silly stuff, or do you just?
Oh yeah, I get out of shape. Yeah.
I was going to say.
There was a time. I think it was 2006.
Yeah.
Not many people know this.
Okay.
I used to go out every Tuesday night with my friend Lee Street. He used to be a good 250 Grasstrack rider. He's British champion, in fact.
Yeah.
We used to go out Tuesdays and Saturdays without fail. There's a place where they have a national down here, Westwell, and there was some big trees, and we were jumping across them. And I said to him, I'm just going to do it one more time before we go. And I jumped and I sumped it. And as I went forward on the handlebars, my arms went click, and I'd only just sort of got it healed.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought, shit, that's really aching. And I said to Lee, Lee, my shoulders, my arms aching. He's like, have you seen the shape of it? I was like, no. And it had bowed. My top part, like across here, had gone like a bit of a.
Jesus.
When I moved it, it was like stiff and horrible. And I thought, that ain't right.
No.
So I'd got on the tree, and I hung off the tree, and it went, and it straightened it out. And it felt weird. That was on the Tuesday, and I got to Thursday, and I think I was riding somewhere. On the road, all right, didn't have a problem, but I could carry the toolbox into the pits. But as soon as I squeezed the tea bag on the side of the cup, it was like electric shock in my arm, like proper pain.
Bloody hell.
So on the Tuesday, I phoned the surgeon. I said, Carlos, my arms, there's something wrong with it. I said, I hurt it trials riding last week, but I rode on the weekend and it was all right. He said, I will come up and we'll have an x-ray. So I went up and had an x-ray, and what it had done, the screws had pulled out of the bone. So the plate, with certain movements, the screws would come out and go back in. So when I was lifting something, so when I was lifting something, it was under tension, they wouldn't come out. But as soon as I moved the thing, the screws would pull out.
Bloody hell.
So that was that year over with.
Did you get that all fixed up all right? Or what?
I had to go in and have another operation and some more screws.
Trials riding, eh?
Yeah, but it's
good fun though. Yeah,
it's
got to be done. Only live once and all that. We'll go back to that again, Paul.
Exactly, and a lot of people, they've all said to me, like, oh, you shouldn't be riding, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. But
it's what you enjoy in fun, yeah.
Yeah, and with the injuries that I've had, I've always felt that I'm not going to stop riding. And it's the aim and the drive to get back to fully fit that helps me recover so quick. Or recover.
Gives you focus of it, yeah.
You've got an aim in life to go for.
Love that thinking, Paul. Steve Carter put, hey Paul, hope all is well, been a while, sending best wishes from Aussie.
Yeah, Steve and Joe. He actually used to help Lee Adams quite a bit, Steve, and he used to ride a bit himself. And so now he's family.
I've got Peter and Dorothy Bowles on YouTube have put, good old Eastbourne, Saturday nights, Paul, a bit of a legend down there. How did he find Eastbourne?
Loved it. It was another trick track. Sometimes I struggle around there, to be honest. But once going there as an opponent, it's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
When you're up against Bob and Martin and Dino, Floppy.
Yeah.
But when you're in with them and they're your mates and that you get looked after, and you can't say enough of them. Like Bob, what a brilliant bloke he was, and Margaret and Paul. It's such a shame that Bob's not around no more.
Yeah. I've got Chris Hares put, what was the greatest year that for you personally, do you feel?
Speedway, I'd probably say 2000 when I was riding for Eastbourne.
Yep.
On a personal front, that was. And then Grasstrack was probably 2005, I thought. But nothing really sticks out that much. my first year at Lakeside or Arena Essex, as it was in '91, riding with sort of Bo Peterson, Brian Carger, Andy Galvin. I couldn't. Obviously, Bo was ex-Hackney as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I couldn't have wished for a better year. And then the second year, going to Peterborough with Mick Paul and Stephen Davies. And Jason Crump, Rod Cahoon, Mark Blackbird, Neville.
A few Aussies.
Oh, it was brilliant. Yeah. And you had such a laugh as well. And it's a shame because when you think back to them days, there's a sort of laughs and jokes we had.
Yeah, a lot of fun as well.
Yeah. And there's not the characters in the sport, like John said last night. It's very difficult. And, back then you used to have a ruck or an argument and, it would happen.
Yeah.
But 2000 on Speedway and probably 2005. And then 2001, I think when I went to Wolverhampton, that was another great year. Riding with PK and Sam and Michael Coulson or Michael Max. They were quite, fun times. And sometimes now I wish I'd met PK a lot earlier than what I did. Or I couldn't have done it, but working with PK as his mechanic, it was a dream.
I was going to say, did you enjoy that?
Oh, it's brilliant. And the thing, like, for what a class and brilliant rider he was.
Yeah, very classy, yeah.
Things are so easy and done right. And
great style, isn't
he? Yeah, just sits in the armchair and
beautiful, yeah.
But he's so fit. People, you look at him, you think, but he is unbelievably fit. And he puts so much into it. And that's what it is.
You see him and you think he's probably running the library or something. And
you see him walking down the street, or when we used to go into Maidstone, something to eat.
Yeah.
You walk past people, you think you don't actually know who he is. And
no.
He's class. And he doesn't, never bragged about it and never no qualms. We'd go down to the local village, have breakfast, and I used to love it.
Awesome. Yeah, he's a top quality rider, he was. Gareth here has put, Paul, talk to everyone about Rhodes Minis, is it?
Yeah.
Dad brought it back and you were awesome there.
Yeah, that was I'll never forget that place as long as I live. Obviously, back in the 60s, it was a really famous grass track. And one of the memories that Dad sort of, not drummed into me, but I'll never forget, was Brigo. I think he won the world final at Wembley on the Saturday night, and he rode there on the Sunday and won there. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's not flat; it's in like a bowl.
Oh, is it? I haven't seen it. No.
Yeah, and like as a kid, Dad used to take me around to all the famous old tracks.
Yeah.
And we walked, even though they were plough fields, we had to walk around them. And
that's it. Yeah.
Looking back now, I used to think at the time, what the fuck is he doing with me now? But now it's nice to have gone there and seen him and done it and appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been 94, 95, might be 95. It was a plough field or a stubble field.
Yeah.
So Dad spoke to the farmer. He said, "Is it all right if my son rides round?" Because he used to be a farmer. So the farmer's like, "Well, yeah." And he was quite a posh farmer.
Yeah.
So Dad's marked out this track, and it was a Saturday before the bonfire burn. I'll never forget it. And he said, "Right, go on, in round you go." I'm like, "Dad, it's a stubble field." He said, "Just go round and get it on. You'll be all right, but keep it on." Jesus Christ, I've gone round up these banks and down them, and my heart's in me. It's like a roller coaster. And obviously, being a stubble field as well, you was a little bit sort of, a bit tank slapperish.
Yeah.
But doing that then, you sort of appreciate it a bit more.
Yeah.
In 2003, he managed to get hold of it, and the farmer agreed to put it to grass. And I think was it 2002? I think it might have been. Was the first time he was there. And it was an awesome track, absolutely awesome. And Dad he always puts a lot of effort into preparing them, so it's nice and smooth and fresh. It was nice, and it did give you that sort of heart in the mouth moment when you went over the sort of the drop offs and into the dips.
Oh, right, like a bridge feeling, yeah.
Yeah, if you got going pretty quick and got your wheels in line, you would come off, and it sort of the front wheel come off the ground, and and it come back up, it would come back off. Yeah,
yeah. Sounds fun.
The only downside of it, it was the first one he run there. My grandma, it was probably the last meeting she come to.
Was it?
And I was leading the final in front of Kelvin. Obviously, Kelvin was world champion at the time.
Yeah.
And my chain come off right in front of her, and I've just somersaulted and flat. I was all right. I jumped up and.
Oh, you're all right.
I had to jump up because she was sat there, and I didn't want to.
You worry as you say it.
Finish her off there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things.
Yeah. Okay, that was an interesting story. Got Matt Wilton. He's put, "Hi Paul, what did you think of Exeter track and the steel fence?"
To start with, the first time I went there, I was like, oh, but I'd already been there because Dad was team manager for Hackney in '89 and '90.
Oh, right,
so I've been there previous.
Yeah.
And then I went there in '91 with Arena Essex.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure how I got on. I can't really remember. But then later on, I can't remember if it was 99, 98. I know it was when Simon had got diagnosed with the brain tumour. And we were both sponsored by SVR, John Gillard. And he was another one that played a big part in my career. He said to me, Paul, if you're doing the Berks Bonanza on Sunday, could Simon jump in with you? So I was like, of course he can. He said, and then come and spend a few days down here. So yeah, I don't know what happened, but in the end, I ended up going with just me and Simon. I think my mechanic had to go to work or something. He got called in after the Berks, so he couldn't come with me. So I was like, oh, shit. And I'd never been to a meeting on my own at that point. Well, apart from when I've been in South Africa.
Yeah.
So it was weird because Dad went off home in the van with all the grass track stuff and everyone. Yeah. And then it was me and Simon sat next to him, and I've got Simon Wigg next to me. Although I rode with him at Kings Lynn in '97. But it's still, to have Simon with you was like a
bit surreal,
yeah. So we drove from Oxford to John's place, obviously talking all the way, and it was awesome. And spending all day Monday with him, going out for something to eat, and then travelling down to Exeter with him.
Yeah.
I sort of even forgot that I needed to find someone to help me at the track. And it was for the Western Annapolis meeting.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And as I said, I hadn't been there for a few years, and I got there, and I was like, Simon helped me take my stuff in, and I felt that people were looking at me thinking, well, why is he helping him?
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. And then there was a guy there called Diesel Derek, used to dish out the methanol.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes he'd come on the trip with John when we went abroad racing on the long tracks. He ended up mechanicking for me, but all he'd done was put the fuel in, and I'd done the rest. Well, I think I even won it. I think I got 14 or 15.
Oh, yeah.
But the mindset going to the meeting with Simon and just doing it.
Yeah.
And coming home with him, and I was just like
amazing experience that was then.
The 2 days I spent with him after that as well, and it was awesome.
Yeah, never forget that. Then that was a great memory.
No.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's nice. Like that. That's good. Yeah, we used to just go down with Dad on a Monday night because we used to go holiday a lot down into Devon for a week, and my mum's sister lived down there. And we used to go on the Monday night in the holiday. That was one of the coolest parts. I think we even caught the back end of Ivor Major arriving down there.
Really?
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, very cool. And then, of course, your dad would go out there and they would know him and they'd let him in. So we'd be like, ooh, feeling a bit special going in through the pits and doing that, looking around all the stars. It was amazing. Great memories down there, though. Hell of a track, wasn't
it? Yeah. And a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah.
But once you read around with it was awesome.
Scratching around the white line, trying to keep away from the fence.
Yeah, then everyone go around you.
So all the home riders loved going out by the old fence, didn't they, in the dirt? Right, we got Ricky Sanford has put, totally agree. Hackney days were the best days. Loved the Saturday afternoon practice. Ricky Sanford.
Yeah, this is Ricky. Yeah, brilliant days. I mean, it always happened. We would go to Hackney on the Friday night for the meeting. It was like a treat, I suppose, because we go to Hackney, come home, McDonald's on the way home, bed up in the morning, back in the car, straight back up to Hackney for 11 o'clock. I would have gone, probably rode, minimum of 12 times that day, because I used to go out, do me 5 laps, come in, straight back in the queue, and just keep doing it all day long.
Yeah.
And you think now, doing that, and then home, have dinner, unload the car, put the Grasstrack bike in, and then go and do a Grasstrack on the Sunday, where you do 8 rides, and there ain't no way I could do that.
Yeah, absolutely no.
But for me, that was awesome. Yeah, I couldn't wish for a better upbringing, really.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, looks like the man's come on. I'm glad he actually put his name, look, because he's not registered it. Typical JD. He's put, "Hi, Paul. What's the green thing hanging out of your nose?" JD.
I want to do that.
I'm glad he put JD. I would never have known who that was. I'd have been like, who's he on about?
Yeah.
Awesome last night, JD, and happy birthday today as well.
What is he, 70 today? Is he 70 or 70? Yes.
Yeah. 78 with it. 78. He's trying to convince me 38. I'm not having that.
The pictures you put on last night of him in the pink suit.
Yeah.
I did have 2 of those. The pink ones with the blue checkers.
Yeah.
I did in my last year of schoolboy Grasstrack, and yeah, loved it.
Love it. See, look, that was cool before its time, because pink come in, didn't it? Everyone was wearing pink shirts and a few years ago and all that. And it's cool.
I was pretty bit that last year, because I had JD's pink and blue and white leathers, but then I sort of idolised Eric Gunderson a bit as well. And my 250 Kajiva was the copy of his white, black, and yellow one.
Yeah, nice.
And that,
very nice, beautiful. Right, I got Jason Colthorpe. He's put, "Did you enjoy riding with Moggo?" That's Alan Moggo, isn't it?
Yeah, Moggo.
Yeah.
Brilliant. He obviously growing up at Hackney, it was always sort of, I don't know, thought that I would sign from when I turned 16. But Dave Pavitt sold out in end of 1990. And Terry Russell and Ivan Henry, I don't know if you remember him, he used to help Bo Peterson. They bought Arena Essex. Well, when Dave left Hackney, that was it for me. Like, I didn't really want to go there. And luckily, Terry and Ivan wanted me to ride for Arena Essex. And obviously, Moggo rode for us in 91 as well. So obviously, so did Bo. But in 91, when I turned 16, Dave Hamnett, an Australian bloke, he got killed, unfortunately, a few years ago on a flat tracker out there. He was living with us. And he was riding for Hackney at the time.
Yeah.
So I always used to go there, but I was always sort of felt, as a kid, you felt a little bit like you shouldn't be there because you didn't sign for him. Well, then when I went there with Arena Essex for the first time, at that point, I'd never won a race. Never, I'd had I think I had a few seconds and thirds and whatever.
Yeah.
Quite early on, obviously being a local derby as well.
Yeah.
But we were out against, I think it was Tony Olsen and Michael Warren. And I was at 6, and Moggo, I think, was either 5 or 3.
Yeah.
And obviously, Moggo used to look after me a little bit because he was in the team in '88 when we won the league.
Yeah.
And I was mascot then. No, was he? I don't think he was. He was there in '87 when I was mascot. So he obviously had, I don't know if he had a soft spot for me or what, but he looked after me.
That's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
And I tracked, and so did he. And he team rode me for the whole 4 laps. And we got a 5-1 over Tony Olsen and Michael Warren. And that's my first ever race win and 5-1.
Buzzing.
I'll never forget that with Moggo, because he didn't have to do that. He could have just cleared off.
Yeah, left you, yeah.
But he was class team rider, Moggo. and he always put other people before himself.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he was at Swindon, I enjoyed him as well. He had a season at Swindon, I remember, when it was the Premier League, I think.
Was that when they dropped down a league as well?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that was when Ollie Allen and all that was there. Maybe Fry as well, Paul Fry. Yeah, that was a good season as well. That was. Did well. That was good. Yeah, very good. Got someone here that's not put a name on it. They've not registered their thing on the thing, but it's put, seriously, Paul, if you hadn't been hurt so much, he would have been a top rider on the Speedway.
Yeah, I would like to have thought I might have been.
I thought you were a very good rider.
Sometimes I sort of didn't out myself. Sometimes I shouldn't have rode when I was injured and tried to, and then I sort of went back a little bit. And to be honest, I'm not really that confident person. So I always sort of doubted myself most of the time.
Yeah.
And so, like, even when I come to Swindon in 2009, I always felt like I shouldn't really be here because I'm not really good enough at the moment, or not good enough.
Oh, you felt that, did you?
Yeah, and probably most people wouldn't have thought that, but that's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was on the back foot sort of most of the year, really, because I struggled, and with that going on in my head, I'm thinking I shouldn't really be here. I'm going to sort of be on marching orders before long.
Yeah.
If I just got on with it and forgotten about that, I'd have probably been all right. But
yeah,
isn't it? It's happened now.
Oh, interesting. Didn't know that. Sonny Springer's put, who's the best person you have trained in Speedway?
Sonny. He's coming along good. Sonny, he's just won the 140 British Championship.
I can see him there on his profile picture with the old.
Yeah. He's brilliant on trials bike, Sonny. He's only, 11? And he's good. He'll be one to watch in the future. With Sonny, I've helped Zach Welshknecht.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult because obviously when I started helping Zach, I wasn't riding. And I wasn't really bothered about riding again. Although I knew I would at some point because that was the drive. But I never thought I'd be riding against him.
Yeah.
And the last couple of years, when we've got to a point that not 2019, it was last year, we got to the European final. And I'm still telling him what to do. And we're in the final. And I knew I could make a start on a Grasstrack bike, but it's difficult because I'm not, like I said before, I'm not 100% committed to making the start with him.
Yeah.
If Bon was there and someone else is there, I'm going to make the start with him and do the best I can. Yeah. But when you jump and you look to your left and Zach's there's no way I'm going to sort of elbow him out of the way because he's my little mate.
Yeah.
And succeed. And as much as it sounds stupid, I couldn't. If I went into the last corner and he left a hole, I wouldn't be able to just dive in there and.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. I've helped him to succeed, and that's what I wanted to do.
A bit more personal, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same with Sonny, although Sonny's a lot younger than me now.
Yeah.
I hopefully won't have to ride against him.
No. So he sounds like a talented young lad then.
They are, and the kids that you can watch them and you tell them something, and they don't really answer you back, but you can see it's gone in.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then after time they start doing it, and you can see the difference. And it's nice with Sonny because I've helped him since he basically started on a Grasstrack or Speedway bike. So he's a good lad. And Nathan Ablett as well. I've helped him a little bit.
Yep.
But he's had a few nasty knocks. His confidence is sort of gone.
A bit of a knock, yeah.
Yeah. But I think in time, once he gets riding again, obviously the COVID situation hasn't helped him at all.
Yeah, not good.
But once he gets a few laps under him and gets back in the groove, he'll be banging on the door as well.
I'll have to keep an eye out for him.
Good lad. Yeah.
Cool. Got another one here. Has no name on it. It's put. Does your dad still have the hoop jumper he wore over his levers?
I think he does. it's a funny story, that, because I always said to me Nan, because Nan lived with us, bloody hell, yeah, since I was 11. So I had all the stories, and it was brilliant. I always used to say, Nan, why did you do that? Why did you knit in that jumper? She said, well, at the time, Paul, everyone wore black, and I couldn't see which one was your dad. So I knitted him a jumper. So I picked him out. So that, yeah, whether he comes out of another cock and ball story, I'm not too sure. But then I said to him, I think he mentioned, I painted me boots white. So I was like, yeah, righto, Dad. But yeah, no, I think he's still got one. And it's funny because Dad was really good friends with Ian Barkley as well. Used to run the Ace of Aces.
Yeah.
He started to do the Past Masters meeting, which was a week after the Ace, or 2 weeks after the Ace of Aces. And Dad done it. And I think it was the second time he'd done it. It was when I was 16. So Ian said, well, why don't you have a match race? So then, we agreed to do it. And this jumper for me to wear. And I put it on, and there's no way I could have rode in that, because you had your leathers on and this thick knitted jumper over the top. That was it. That's as far as it went. So.
That's brilliant. I like that. I like the story of that.
Yeah, still got that.
Yeah, still got it. Brilliant. I'll have to ask him about that. Trevor Diggle has put, hi, Paul. Do you remember me when I first saw you? You were riding around your dad's lawn on your little push bike.
Yeah, Trevor Diggle used to come down from, I think it was up Norwich Way, I think it was, or further up Leicester. Yeah, and I remember Trevor. He used to run some good grass tracks that Dad used to go to. And yeah, a lot of people used to come to the house. And it's funny because one of the houses that we grew up in Larkfield, this is quite funny. Dad was obviously working at Godden's, and when we moved in there, we were sort of there was an end of terraced house, and then we was the next one in.
Yeah.
Well, Gordon Kennett lived in the end of terrace one. Okay. That was next door, and obviously, I think Gordon was riding for White City then.
Okay.
And he had his workshop in his garden, and I was only about 3, I think. And he used to pick me up and lift me over the fence, and I used to go into his workshop with him. And he used to have like a case full of old nuts and bolts, and I used to empty it out on the floor and then put them all back in while he was working on his bike. And he taught me to swear, or he taught me to talk as well. And, it's funny because it wasn't so long ago that one of Dad's old racing friends, Brian Webb, he was British Grasstrack champion. His dad passed away, sadly. And Dad reminded me and Brian that they went to the grass track on a Sunday, and Brian's dad come round the back of the van and said to me, Dad, he said, Graham, Paul just swore at me. He said, what, like laughing. He said, what did he say? He said, he told me bollocks. He taught me to say bollocks. So yeah, it was quite fun, really, like living there. And I always used to have like a little grass track around their back garden, Mum and Dad's. And yeah, when I think back now, they had no hope of having a nice garden.
No.
And even sort of back then, when Mark used to come and stay, he used to bring his BMX bike, and we used to get buckets of water and throw on the grass, and then pedal down the pathway onto the grass and turn.
Skid it around,
Yeah.
Definitely done that before.
Oh, yeah.
Used to wreck my mum's garden.
And we lived in a cul-de-sac where this place was.
Yeah. And
it was freezing one night and started to snow.
Yeah.
So we said, come on, get the buckets, and we'll throw the water on the cul-de-sac. Yeah, we did that as well. And it was like a skid the next day.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. Good fun, that.
Oh, yeah, it's brilliant days.
Got Matthew Streets put, Paul, you and Graham should write a book. Love it. Yeah, that'd be good.
This is Lee Streets' brother, Matthew. Yeah. It is like Matthew and Lee. I've grown up with them, and their dad grew up with my dad, so we've all sort of shared stories. And
yeah,
it's brilliant days. Brilliant
days. Definitely get all the days. BMX days. Yeah.
BMXs and trials bikes.
Yeah,
Right.
we used to have the days when Dad used to put the Speedway disc in the BMX and all that sort of thing. Make your Speedway noises while you're on it, and
Brilliant.
got to be done. Got to be done. Got Colin Richardson has put evening guys from Dubai. How you doing, Colin?
Evening, Colin. Yeah, no, I remember Colin. He was brilliant on the indoor at Wembley as well. I remember watching Colin because when he won, he used to do the donuts as well.
Oh, the old donuts.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like what happened to? Go on.
Go on, you carry on.
What happened with Lee? That knocked me for
mate.
6 a little bit because it.
Yeah.
Obviously nuts. Yeah, seeing Colin ride and then Lee. I'll never forget because we went down to a training school. I don't know if it was a training school or a meeting, and Colin was riding for Eastbourne. And I saw Lee and Craig, and they were two little, looked like twins, walking around. I'll never forget them from that age until today, really. And it was when I started to walk again, I just started to walk after my injury. Martin Hagen, and all the Hagens have been family friends for years, and Martin's helped me since I started riding, really, with shocks, and still does to this day. He offered me he said, well, he offered me a job. He said, why don't you come up here and sort of help me build some of the junior bikes I'm sending to America?
Yeah.
So it was brilliant. It was just, had he not done that, I don't know where I'd been at, because I was going off with my head at home. It was quite a dark time, really.
Was it, mate? Yeah.
And
not good.
No, it was unbelievable because I'd split up from my partner as well with the kids, and I'd obviously moved into mum and dad's place in the annex, and I couldn't see an outward way. You couldn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. And then when Martin gave me that job, it was just like a fresh breath of air.
Yeah.
Breath of fresh air. Yeah.
I know.
I started going up there building the bikes through the winter months. Well, then obviously Lee and Craig were coming up to get the bits ready for the season. I spent a bit time chatting with them and with Lee, and then I got the phone call from PK to mechanic for him. Well, then it rolled on, and then I was there every week with them and was having a laugh and a joke. And then that happened, and you sort of, what can you say? What can you do? It's one of your mates that he was the safest rider out there, and he would never take a risk.
Said that to John last night. Yeah, one of the safest.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
It's not right. It wasn't right.
No.
But that's what we're in, isn't it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching him at Swindon as well. He was a great rider at Swindon as well. Lee
Adams together.
That was beautiful. Yeah, great memories. That was, what a top guy he was. Such a shame.
It just proves it, you know.
Cruel life sometimes, mate.
It is. It's horrible, and people have said to me many a time, look, does it not put you off? Does it not do this? Yeah, yes, it does. But the way, some of the things that I look at, or some of the ways that I look at it, when I was a bit younger, I was friends with Paul Mitchell, who sadly got seriously hurt in a crash at Reading. And I went to see him, and I'm sure it's right that he was in a room with another person who was paralysed from the neck down, I think it was, or the chest down. And I said to Paul, like, what happened to him? He said he was a professional rugby player, but he fell over in the shower at home. And you think, if it's going to happen,
it's like written in the stars.
It's horrible. It's horrendous. But you've just got to try and stay as fit as you can, as healthy as you can, and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
It can bite you in the ass at any point.
Yeah, enjoy it where you can. Yeah, 100%. Got no name on this one either. Not registered. It's put, can you remember a trip home from Holland in Glenn's van? So you might know who that is. Who would that be?
I never the trips with Glenn Cunningham. I think that's who it is. Yeah, there was times when you do things, you think, shit, this isn't going to work out, and it did. There was times when there was a couple of friends of ours, Barry Woodruff and Tim Bennett. We were riding somewhere, so we had to fly in. Now Baz and Tim, they like a drink and a party, and we were going. I don't think it was a Grand Prix round, but it might have been, to Parkham, a long track in East Germany. And we had to fly in, and them two have taken the van with all the bikes. And at the time, I was riding Hans Zerk's Jowers, and I had to fit him when I got there because they were his own engines. And I'm thinking, shit, I've sent my bikes out there. Tim's going to be my mechanic. They were going to the nightclub the night before. There ain't no way when I get there I'm going to make practice because I'm going to have to do my bike.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be either dead or not able to stand up. I rocked up there in the taxi. I've looked, my bike's ready to go. And I'm like, what in the... Tim had done it all, even though he was half cut. And I was astounded, really, because I was expecting it to get there, put the bike together, do a late practice, and go from there. But no, it was ready to go. And but the tricks with Glenn, he was. I mean, I was always quite serious when I went racing. Obviously, having my dad and John Gillard with me and a few others in the early days, it was always frowned upon if I enjoyed myself a bit too much. But Glenn always, you sort of think back now, maybe I should have. But yeah, it's what it is.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching Glenn as well at Swindon. He was a good rider.
He was, and riding with him in the junior grass tracks, he was always a thorn in my side. He was always in front of me as well. So
yeah, very good rider. Got Basil Hull is put. Wiggy was the ultimate, but I've always thought that Calvin Tatum never got the recognition he deserved, as he always lived in Simon's shadow. Love to hear your thoughts on this.
Kelvin is brilliant. Yeah, he's 3 times world champion. What more can you say? And he's probably fitter than what most of us are. He puts a hell of a lot into his race, and even when he first came onto the grass track, it was just unbelievable what Kelvin done. But obviously, it's that way of putting yourself about, isn't it? Your character.
Yeah.
There was something about Simon that people liked. I'm not saying there's nothing that people don't like about Kelvin, but sometimes when you talk to Kelvin, he can be a little bit harsh and to the point. And some people, they don't like that. It can sort of stir them up a little bit. And you can understand Kelvin being like that. Sometimes I've been with him and he's going to be going out for a race in a couple of minutes and someone have asked him the most stupidest question. And he just tells them bluntly, like, jog on.
Yeah.
And it's just the person you are. You know, you can win some, you can lose some. But Kelvin, he was probably... he was professional, but I'm not so sure he would have been... what's the word? Charismatic as what Simon was.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah.
And the way Simon come across towards sponsors was probably a little bit different. And Simon was mixing both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's not many people done that.
No, top man for sure.
Yeah. And people don't credit him enough. Like when you think back, Eric Gunnarsson won the World Long Track and World Speedway final in the same year.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And you
class, yeah.
Pure class, that's unreal.
Hoping to get Eric on. I spoke to him a couple of times, so I got quite excited about speaking to Eric.
But I bet you did. Like when you listened to John last night saying about Ollie and Hans, well, they were good grass track riders, but they were never in Eric's league.
No, he was special.
And when you think the world final that Eric did win in '84 at Herxheim, you've only got to look at the race between Egon Muller and Peter Collins on YouTube. That's a sort of competition he had to beat.
Yeah. Different gravy, yeah.
Don't get me started on Grand Prix and long track.
Yeah. Oh god, my brother's mugging me off online. He's put any glasses. Didn't realise my brother was Clark Kent, Superman. He's killing me there. He's killing me. I thought someone was going to mention it.
Never going to live that down.
No, I'm not. Simon Cross. He's put, Lee, is this working? It is working, Simon. Don't worry, mate. We're just so that we're up to 8. We're up to 8:20 on the questions, and we're now at 9:05. So it always works out that you're a bit behind. But yeah, it is working.
Yeah,
Simon.
I've been with Simon as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows this or not. He probably got a good idea.
Love Simon Cross.
When I broke my legs and my knees in south of France,
yeah,
I was in hospital for quite some time. I shouldn't be saying this, really. But I rode at Lakeside on the Friday.
Yeah.
We had to drive down the next day direct to get there in time for practice.
Okay.
So in a bit of a rush, I thought, do I use the loo at home or not? For no, sod it. I'll be all right. So this is like midnight. So then we drove to the tunnel, got there. But do I need the toilet? Because some of the toilets in France can be a little bit different.
Okay.
Like launch pads. You just in the shower, you just drop your trousers and
yeah.
So I thought, no, I'll go on the way down there. Well, we've drove down through the night. Well, I've crashed out. I've gone. So I woke up. We're pulling into the pits in Lariol. Scorching hot day. About, I don't know, 11, 12 o'clock. I think practice was at 2. So I'm like, okay, we're here. Shit. Do I go now or do I go later? And I thought, no, I'll try. I couldn't go because I don't like the launch pads. I'm allergic to them, I think. So we carry on. We do the meeting. I went to go before the main meeting started. Couldn't go. Yeah. Okay. So I'm like, fuck, now I'm getting like, this isn't right. There's got to be a proper toilet to sit on and go to toilet. No, nothing. Well, as it goes on, I've obviously had the accident. I'm then in the ambulance, and yeah, that's all happened, and I wasn't very well. That was on Saturday, and I think Simon coming to see me on Monday afternoon about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I still haven't been to the toilet.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Well, now I'm laid on this bed. I've got one leg up here on this foam thing, and the other one's in a cast down in front of me. So I'm bollocks. I can't go nowhere. I'm in a room on my own.
Yeah.
And I'm talking away, and I sort of get this feeling. I mean, Jesus Christ, I've got bellyache. What's going on? I'm talking to Crossy, and then I start sweating. And I'm thinking, I need to go to the toilet. And like Crossy sort of, we're talking and chatting, and it's brilliant that he come in to see me.
Yeah, awesome, yeah.
And he said, I'm going to go. And I said, Simon, you couldn't just grab a nurse as you go out, could you? He said, yeah, no worries, mate. And sweat was pouring off of me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I need to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
So he's gone out. The nurse has come in, and I didn't speak a word of French, and they didn't speak a word of English. Oh, and all I had was a triangle to pull myself up.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of hanging, and I'd said to toilet. So they've come in with this like frying pan.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what the fuck? what am I going to do with that? So she told me she's demonstrated what to do. So I've pulled myself up on this thing. So I'm hanging there, and I'm thinking, I've got to go. So I'm going to the toilet. And I'm like, it's just a relief. Well, then I've suddenly thought, I've finished now. But she's went out the door, and I'm in the room on my own. And I'm like, no way, I'm going to drop myself in that because I'm hanging there.
You're hanging on for dear life there, yeah.
And I'm like, I've gone for the swipe. I've got the bell. It's rung the bell. And they was older nurses there. They wasn't the smallest of nurses. Like you'd think, it's going to be pretty. And
yeah, you have some eye candy, yeah.
No, the most stunning girl nurse come in. I've never seen it.
No.
And I'm like, what? So I just like, no, go away. And the other one comes.
Yeah.
Sorting me out. The most embarrassing. I just wanted to die.
Oh, that is horrendous, isn't it?
Just the way they left me hanging, and I'm like,
literally, yeah. That's brilliant.
And after that, I never had that experience again. I made sure that I was able to get onto wheelie things.
At least Crossy didn't see that.
No. He would have been rolling around on the floor, I thought. You see that?
Oh, hang on. Oh, here we go. So he did come back with a question. So he was asking me if it was working. Is Mr. Cross, a bit of a ledge. Asked Paul about the time I visited him in hospital a couple of times in Malmö. After an accident, he told me to shoot him if he ever got back on a bike, guns loaded, just give me the nod.
Crossy, that I'm never doing that again. There's no way, but yeah.
That's what it
is. It is. It's very difficult when you've done it for so long.
Yeah.
To stop. I mean, like even the times I wasn't riding on a Sunday, it doesn't feel normal not going out on a bike. You know, that's all I've ever known. Even like early days when I can sort of first remember, we was off to a grass track and we'd stop off in a paper shop. Mum would run in and get a bottle of Lucasade and that crinkly, filmy crap, the paper and some mints, and off we would go. It's what it is, isn't it? It's life and what you enjoy doing.
Yeah. I've got one here that's no name on it. Hi Huz, so they obviously know the nickname. What was the best grass track frame you rode? What was the best engine you raced? Was it the HZ, PJR, or Karga? Great interview. Who that is?
I've got to say, on the frame front, when I first come into the adults, Mick Potter from Bromley, bless him, he sponsored me with basically whatever I needed. And I was forever grateful to Mick. And even to the end, when I got hurt, he was helping me in different ways. And then I went on to Roger Maynard's bikes, which are BRM. I know they were lovely bikes to ride. Always had good engines, and the frames that he made himself were brilliant. After that, I went on to the Jow stuff when I was sponsored by Jow from Hans Erk, and that was always first class. And even then, like in 2000, the year that I said, I had grass track stuff, long track stuff, and speedway stuff from him, and finished. I think I was fourth in the world long track that year as well, and second in the British Speedway final.
Good, yeah.
And that was great. But the best engines, I would say, at the moment, I've got Karga stuff and a BVE, which are both brilliant.
Yeah.
But I was fortunate enough to get a guy called Jeff Terry. He's local to me in Crawley. Come up to me and offered to buy me an engine in 2003. It might have been 2, can't remember. And since that day, I've used GMs from Brian Karga.
Yeah.
And obviously it goes back to the Lakeside days with Brian. And yeah, they've been brilliant. I can ride them anywhere I want and they work. And with Jeff doing what he's done for me, again, I've had some brilliant people help me. Jim Jones from Matthew Elliott office refurbishments. He was brilliant. He bought me 2 Kargas, 2 Brian Andersons in 1 year, 2 bikes, and he took me to the next level in speedway as well. But with Jeff, it's become more than that. He's bought me all my engines for grass track and long track, and some speedway stuff. And he's become a personal friend. And if anything, he's sort of part of the family now. Nice. And it's nice to be able to sort of come across sponsors like that. And all the sponsors I've had, I've always tried to sort of look after them and treat them well and keep them there. Not just for gain, but for friendship and just life experiences, really. And Jeff's he's been there. He's been there when I've been up, and he's been there when I've been low. And he was there in the south of France when I had the crash. And he said, boy, he said, if you ride again, I'm there to help you. He said, if not, then we'll go and watch.
Proper support, yeah.
Yeah, and if you've got, and even when I've been in the dark days, like I said,
yeah,
there's been times when I've phoned him, I've been in tears where I've been down.
Yeah.
And he's always been there.
Yeah.
And there's not many people that you can go to like that. And even to this day, I could phone him up now and say, Jeff, dickhead, come and make me a cup of tea. And he would. Yeah. And the same vice versa, you know that they're there for you and you're there for them. It works both ways. So
that's nice, mate.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
It's only down to the way that I've been brought up from mum and dad, really.
Yeah.
Cracked up.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Ben Piggin, how was your time at King's Lynn? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. Although I didn't have the best of results and probably didn't do what I should have done. But yeah, being there, I mean, that's another thing. I was there with Wiggy and Simo was the team manager. But being around people like Thomas DePink and Bo Brill, the camaraderie between those two was brilliant. And with Simon being there as well. And I parked next to Simon. And it's funny, obviously, with Simon, Dad rode with him and with his brother Julian. So I suppose I don't know what he would have thought me as. But he always called me Paulie. Come on, and I'm like, I'm not a little boy.
Yeah, Paulie.
Brilliant, just to have that honour of being called that by him. It was. But he's mechanic Brett. He's another person that is a lifelong friend, and I will be there for him no matter what. It's just those experiences, it's character building. Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's always good to make good friends.
Yeah,
feel like we are now, Paul.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly that. Got Kevin Titman. He's put, hello, mate, from Australia. Got a couple of long track bikes over here with your name on it for a skid. Tito.
Yeah, I've got a bone to pick with him. He's keeping us in business at the moment. Mr. Titman. The amount of stuff we're making for him at the moment for his shop over there.
Yeah.
He's brilliant, Kevin. Obviously, his dad was really good speedo rider. But Kevin, he makes me laugh. I picked him up from the airport a couple of months back, and we was having a giggle. But yeah, I'd love to go over there and ride his long track bikes for him. I've always wanted to do that, go over there and have a blast on some of their tracks. I was able to go over a few years back, just after I started being normal on my legs, not falling over. I was helping a guy called Hunter Anderson, young boy.
Yeah.
And his dad kindly put me up when I went over there with Jeff. Although I'd never managed to get over there and race over there, we went round to all the Australian championships that year. I think Chris won it that year. And I rode in a few, because the day after they hired the track for practice. So I was able to go around and have a few skids around there. I went to Curry, Majura. No, not Majura, Adelaide. Gilman, I think it was. And rode them. So, it's pretty cool to do that.
Was that good?
Yeah. Yeah, but I never got a chance to ride on any long tracks. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be up for that, Kevin.
Sounds like a date at some point.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Kerry Sandford. Hi, Paul. Would you like me to come down and make you a cuppa? You're sounding a bit dry.
Yeah, I've got one, Kerry, but yeah, anytime.
Yeah, exactly. Can't turn down a cup of tea.
Cool, definitely not. No. Proper English tea. That's the only thing that you miss when you're riding abroad is a good old proper cup of tea.
Yeah. Was there I don't know if you had much to do with Jeremy Doncaster. I used to hear there was Jeremy Doncaster, when he used to go abroad, he used to take these tuck shop things going on or something. I used to hear about. Do you ever?
I mean, it's just on my part, it's just laziness. Like you could take tea bags and milk with you, but you can't be asked. That's another story.
Go on.
Obviously, he knew Dad from racing, and in 1985 for the first bonfire burn up, we had the youth presentation night the night before.
Okay.
I think Dad was vice chairman of the junior club, and he got Jeremy to come down the day before with Patty's missus, and do the presentation, stay at our house afterwards, and then go to College Street on the Sunday. And he did. And after the final, he'd won it. He gave me his. Can you remember Amy goggles and grips?
Oh yeah.
He gave me his goggles. And
nice.
I was made up with them. And like,
yeah.
For him, like to be like a young kid.
Yeah.
I think that day as well, I got Motorcycle News used to do awards that everyone used to vote for, and they presented them on that day, and I got most improved youth of the year.
Oh right.
And yeah, I think I went round on the back of Duncan Tellhurst as well. But to be there and like be a kiddie and Jeremy's won, and he stayed at your house and giving you his goggles, and you're like,
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, when you see the kids now, you sort of say hello, and you know what they're feeling, and it's
yeah. Give them the time, they'll be like over the moon.
Exactly, and it's nice just to make their day, really.
Yeah, moments like that. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's priceless.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I'm still doing it now. Speaking to you guys.
No.
My mum's messaging me going, I've never seen you so happy.
You carry on, mate.
loving life right now. Vaughan Williams used to race motocross at Vaughan. He's a bit of a schoolboy champion as well back in the day. He's put out of Paul's era. Which rider does he think could have had the most successful career at motocross? Interesting.
I always thought that Rob Herring would have been world champion. Jeremy Watley. I don't know. They're just the ones I always used to sort of, and to a degree, Warren Edwards. I always thought he might have gone a little bit further.
Very talented. Yeah, remember when he did the Supercross when Ricky Johnson came over?
Yeah.
Was it Birmingham?
NEC,
yeah, NEC. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
And was there one? There was one at Matcham's.
Yes,
I think, and it was on TV on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Was it Neil Shepherd?
Neil Shepherd as a rider. Yeah, Neil Shepherd.
And it was him and Warren. And I always thought, that's cool. But I always thought Kurt Nichol would be world champion as well.
Yeah.
Or should have.
Yeah, he should have been. Yeah, he was unlucky a couple of times. I remember he was miles in front in one of the 500 titles races, and he had a big off and a broken leg. I remember when he was leading by quite a bit. He would have probably won that year, and then missed out by 2 points another year.
Yeah. I think I told you the other day when we done the Day of Champions at Mallory. We was all there. Was Cole Nunn, Dave Jeffries, the TT rider that sadly got killed. Sam Emelianenko, Kurt, Paul Edmondson, Dougie Lampkin. What's his name? Walker, Chris Walker.
Oh yeah, Chris Walker. Yeah, remember him.
Jamie Robinson, the road racer. I think Neil Hodgson was there, and Sean Emmett, road racer. Yeah, and we all done each other's discipline.
And when
you watch Kurt and Paul Edmondson, they're seriously good on bikes.
Yeah,
Kurt got on my speed Grasstrack bike and just gone.
Yeah,
he wasn't. I think he went out with Sam Emelianenko, because Sam had his Grasstrack bike, and he wasn't that far behind Sam. And to get on obviously a Grasstrack bike, we've got nothing between your legs, got no tank or anything to grip. Yeah, no, he got the gist of that. And it was funny because afterwards we all went in for something to eat at lunchtime. And I was sat next to him and his dad. And he said, oh, yeah, we've been to Kings Lynn a few times and we see you when you was there. And you're just thinking, how can Kurt Nichol be stood there in the crowd as a paying punter watching Speedway?
That's wild.
It is just
I would have freaked out if I'd seen him.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, when he like messaged me, when I was like messaging all these guys, and they were initially when I first started this in March, they were like sending me videos of them answering. Of course, he sent me his video through, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like Kurt Nichol. My missus is like, who's that? I'm like, oh please don't. Kurt Nichol is like, he just sent me a video. It's like crazy. Oh, actually, Vaughan's just come back on. He put, Lee, I meant which speedway rider could have crossed over and been successful at motocross? Ah. Interesting.
I think Chris Louis could have. Chris Louis was quite good on motocross.
Yeah, went Calvin as well, I think. When he
Yeah, I think Calvin,
he's doing it again
does.
now. Yeah, he still does. I saw him at a meeting not that long ago.
I think them two would have been up there.
Yeah.
And I've got a feeling Alfie Botel, who rides now.
Oh yeah.
I think he's quite useful on the motocross bike.
And Craig Cook as well. I think he used to do motocross as well. I'm sure I've seen him say that.
Both the Worrells, I think Steve and Richie Worrell.
Yeah.
They're quite good.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think Danny Bird, remember he rode for Reading?
Yeah, he raced with me, mate, all the time. Same group, same age group, everything with him. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he was all right, wasn't
he? He didn't beat me at motocross though.
That's good.
To be fair though, he went on and had a great speedway time until whatever that happened with that ban he had. But he was a bit wild at motocross, I remember. Jesus.
Yeah, it is though, isn't it? It's it's just life.
Good rider.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. Got Sean Courtney's come up and put respect, poor hurry, good interview. Remember Sean?
Yeah, Sean the blinder. Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah. Sean and Mark. Yeah, and I was with Sean somewhere, but he's a brilliant bloke. Absolutely brilliant. Always a pleasure to talk to, and says it how it is, and a rider to match it as well.
Yeah. We've got Dow Rowe has put Huzzah legend.
Kelly, that's Anderson's dad.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he was at Swindon when I was there. He was mechanicking for Matty Zager.
Oh, right.
And even today we always have a laugh. And if I can help Anders out anytime, I always do. But yeah, Dale's a decent bloke. He's a decent bloke, Dale.
Big hi to him. He's I used to love Zager at Swindon when he was down there with Adams and all that. That was good.
Yeah, he was cool. He's another one that you would have thought in the World Championship would do better than what he's more than capable of.
Yeah, definitely. He's got the talent, and he's great rider.
Yeah, when that year at Swindon, him and Lee together, again, it was like having Michael Coulson and Peter Coulson together. They just knew where each other were.
Clark. Yeah,
a bit like Darcy and Chris, really.
Yeah, amazing. I've got Simon Bird has put, hi Paul, you ever fancied to have a go on a sidecar? I know your dad was a big lefty fan.
I thought about it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think I would be a rider. Come on.
Probably now I'd be the rider, but back in the day,
yeah, you fancied hanging on.
When my dad was riding, I used to practice on the side of their armchair, thinking I was a sidecar passenger. I used to hang off and tip the sofa up, and I always wanted to be a sidecar passenger on the road racing.
Wow.
And it's funny now because one of my friends is Tim Reeves, who's quite good on them, and the guy that we worked at DP, Matt McLaughlin, he's really good on British sidecars as well on the road. Yeah. Actually, today I see him in his passenger aid. So it's. I did have a go on one with a guy called Mick Boddice at Mallory, that they are champions.
Oh, right, okay.
And the worst mistake I'd done, I had my Kevlar suit on and my motocross gloves. Well, obviously the sidecar pan or whatever they call it is alley.
Yeah. Okay.
So obviously Kevlar and alley is very polishy, isn't it? It's slippery.
Slippery, yeah.
I'm hanging on for dear life. I'm slipping all over the place, and then we come up to bus stop at like 100 mile an hour down to zero. I've just gone up into the front of the sidecar like a bloody idiot. He must have what's this trick?
He's overtook me. What's going on?
I did. We peaked and then we come out of this corner and went down the long straight, and as he's gunned it, and must have been doing 80, 90, I've looked at like that because I had my motocross helmet on. The peak caught the wind and
that they took your head off.
Get off, dickhead.
I took some photos of them at Fox Hill. They have some sidecars and quads and all that as well. And Jesus, it makes good pictures, that's for sure. Like with the literally touching the floor on the corners and
unbelievable, aren't they? There's a guy not far from me in Staplehurst, Chris Etheridge. I think he's British champion a few times.
I've heard of that name, yeah.
And Dad always used to try and talk to him about like fitness and foods and that, and he used to tell me what to eat and that when I was younger. And I tried to do it because when you think of him, how good he was and what he used to do, fair play.
Yeah, I know there was the good British one was called Browns. The Browns as well. He was there as well at Fox Hill.
Yeah,
very good.
They used to have yellow outfits, didn't they?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think it was yellow. Yeah, they were very good. It was really impressive to watch. First time I'd watched them live as well, so it was really good. And around Fox Hill as well, I was like, shit.
Yeah, fair play. I went there a couple of years back. One of my friends was riding them when I'd look. I'd never been there before. And that's special.
Yeah. Back in the day, that was really cool, mate. They had like packed out 30,000, 40,000 there in the GP heydays at Fox Hill. Unbelievable it was. Coming through the valley. Yeah, it was. The riders used to say they couldn't hear the bikes over the air horns. It was that bad.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, that's how it should be, mate. Yeah, we need to get back to that. Phil Alkins, put upright or laydowns?
Laydowns are easier to ride. Well, they were. But it's technology, isn't it? It's gone so far now. I'm not so sure it's gone in the right direction for Speedway. The upright was very forgiving. You had to use a lot of throttle control. Where when you watch them now, it's totally different. Back in the day, you used to listen to Hans Nielsen coming to the corner, and you could hear his engine, and he was in and off the throttle and back on and finding the grip.
Yeah.
You watch them now; they don't do none of that. It's just on. It's like a switch. It's on or it's off. And obviously, to get the power now, they've gone for shorter stroke engines to get the revs. But obviously, with revs comes a bit of unreliability. And obviously, when you've got light flywheels as well, as soon as they hit a bit of grip, they want to go forward. And roll on with the new style rear ends as well that are straight. As soon as they hit a bit of grip, they want to take off. The exhaust pipes, when they were solid in the middle, didn't help. But I think now the ones they're using are better. But to me, it's all gone arse about face, big time. When I first started riding and I was the mascot at Hackney, you would see Hans Nielsen or Eric Gunderson or Simon go out and heat one. And bearing in mind, I used to walk the track with them before the meeting, not knowing what I was looking at, but I was with them.
How good.
And they were walking around the inside of the track, feeling where the dirt was. Never went up the fence to look up past mid-track. And Hans and Eric would go round the white line in heat one, and 9 times out of 10 they would break the track record. And it went on like that. And someone would get injured, they might break their scaphoid or their collarbone, and you think, oh no, he's going to be out for like 6 weeks. That's how it was. Well, now you rock up at a track, and it kind of spoiled it for me a little bit as well, from my own personal point of view. Probably didn't help being a lakeside rider, and it was slick most weeks there. You would turn up at a track, and they would spike the starts so they looked like a plough field, and then they would spike probably 4 or 5 meters from the air fence around the outside, where you had to ride to get the grip. You couldn't ride around the inside because there was nothing there. Well, when you sort of sit back and think, okay, they've got the air fences now, and they're spiking it up there. Well, you've got the short stroke engines, the new rear ends, whatever they are, and that pick up when they do drive, when you're in a bit of drive, and off the starts they drive. Well, when you go into a corner and you go from the slick to the dirt, it's going to react when it hits that dirt, and you see it all too often now.
Mm-hmm.
With Bartos, as soon as he hit a bit of grip, it took off, and you couldn't hold on. Because it's revving and spinning that much. As soon as it hooks up,
it's anything, takes off.
And you see them, they run up to the fence, and it hooks up, and they go into the fence. Well, before, where it was a collarbone, or sometimes it would be worse. Now it's thighs and legs where they're hitting handlebars on the air fence, and you just think it's all moved a different way, and is it the right way? And I feel quite sorry for Marcel Garrard with the GTR engine. I've got one, and I do use it because the cost of running kit now it's unbelievable. I was only reading the Speedway Star a few weeks ago, and there's a young Swedish kid that OV Funding mentioned. He hadn't got a team, and I think he went out and spent like £120,000 setting himself up, hoping to get a team. And you're like, who or what young kids can afford to do that?
It's just madness.
It's what it is, isn't it? It's how it's gone. Yeah, had they bought in, this is a classic. What my dad says as well. Had they bought in a GTR where you can do practically new on the whole year without having it serviced, okay, probably won't rev as high as a GM. You won't have to keep having it serviced. And to me, they should have bought that in the lower league and the middle league, and that's all you could use. So in the top league, you can have like Jason and whoever is in the Grand Prix. They need to ride what they want to ride. But Dad's motto, and it's quite a funny one, and I think he might have told you this already. He said back in the day, he said you used to go to Wembley for a world final, and there would be something like 85, 90,000 people there. And Brigo would turn up with his bike on the back and his toolbox, and his mate would meet him in the pits, and that would be their world final. He said, "No, don't it quite well." He said, "Now they rock up at a Grand Prix. They've got a van with 4 bikes in, 4 mechanics, and 5,000 people." And you're thinking, has it gone the right way, or has it gone the wrong way?
Weird one, isn't it?
It is, It's gone too far, I think, but I'm probably wrong.
There's not a name on this one. I think I know there was a lady asked me this earlier on to ask this question, so she's obviously come on with it. She's put, please ask Paul about the multi-purpose new stadiums.
We need them, but
we're
not going to get them. I mean, you've only got to look what's happened with Wimbledon. Knocked it down to build a football pitch and some flats. And then it's just not right, is it? I mean, obviously, like I said earlier on, how the councils and that are against sort of motorcycling and whatever. Obviously, there might be an extreme case where they're not. But like Sittingbourne, you've got an ideal opportunity there, and you had it with Coventry and with Lakeside to a degree. I mean, Coventry, central of the country, I would have thought that it would have been the best interest of the ACU, obviously the governing body in England, that if I'm right, I think I'm right in saying, rent their premises where they are now, or whatever. Surely it would have been better for them to have bought Coventry and used it as a multi-purpose stadium with the Speedway, have the offices there, the BSPA offices there, the control board there, central of the country. No, I don't know what I'm about.
It's too sensible, isn't it?
It's just and you look at the things that are doing in Poland. You know, it's how it should be, isn't it? It can be right. It can be clean. It can be comfortable. It can be a proper show. But
that's what it needs.
It
needs a lot of investment, doesn't it?
It does, and it needs a lot of investment, but that money's been squandered by the club.
Pretty much what John was sort of saying about that type of thing from in the days when they were prospering. Wow.
I mean, when the classic case is when we all had a meeting in '92. All the riders had to go to Daventry for a meeting with the BSPA. How they're going to do this? How can we bring the sport forward? It was when Gary Avlock was world champion.
Yep.
Blah blah blah. We need a TV deal. That's what we need. We need. Well, a few years later, they obviously got that. And when they got that, if you noticed, when Sky cameras went anywhere, everything had a fresh lick of paint. You had the cheerleaders, you had the banners up. It was all razzmatazz. Well, that's all gone now, isn't it? They forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's now back to the norm. It just wears thin. You don't get none of that now on TV. When you look at some of the stadiums, the grass hasn't been cut for I don't know how long. I mean, full credit to Chris Van Straten. When you go there, it's a proper professional setup. Yeah. Clean. It's freshly painted. The fence is clean. You know, the white line's painted. I mean, some of the places you go to, they haven't painted the white line since probably 2000. Or the kickboards. And it's not really
shit. Yeah. It's a lot of it. A lot of the stuff's in the preparation of all sorts of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Track as well.
Yeah. It's got to be. It is, isn't it? It's the preparation and the presentation that counts.
Yeah, for sure. James Brown's put, Paul, do you think Ty Woofenden will win again?
Yeah. Yeah, you've only got Ty. If you look at Ty and you look at Mason, they've got that sort of crumper. You've got that instinct. They want it. Yeah. I don't think, looking at Ty this year, he's obviously come back from a nasty injury. He probably hasn't revealed the true facts about that, how bad it probably was.
Yeah.
And you can see that he's there, but he's not going past that point.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it takes a hell of an effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know that it'll come.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got the drive, hasn't he? He looks like.
Yeah, because when you watch Emil Bartos pass him, he's watched him and he's just thinking, he knows that if he wants to,
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got to look at Ty, how much he puts into it.
Yeah.
And that's why he's successful.
Yeah, I think he'll win again, hopefully.
At the end of the day, though, when you look at these people, they're disciplined and they've got respect. And
yeah,
I'm afraid some of the youngsters ain't got that.
Yes.
I think Robert has and Ty has. A lot of the others need to
get in line.
Yeah.
Got Jed Rolfe has put, hi Paul, I first saw you ride at Bodiam Castle when you was about 13. I could see you was going to be a class act, and after all these years you still are. Jed.
Jed's a lovely bloke, and I wish his family all the best. And yeah, he's another one that just loves the sport, and he would do anything to help anyone. And you need people like Jed around. I mean, he's a mechanic for people, and he's a diamond bloke.
Well, before you go, I need to get a few of my questions in. I'm going to go like that down the thing. Glasses about though, so that's good.
You can see it now.
Yeah, I'll be giving it to Clark Kent now. Was there yeah, no capes. Behind me. Was there a certain bike or engine that you rode over the years that was a bit of a favourite for you? Can you remember the years that it was a sort of engines? I see some of the guys have sort of got some engines they sort of go around with that were bits of favourites. Give them nicknames. I've heard some of these.
Like when I went back to Surreal Essex in 94, 95.
Yeah,
Cole Bloomfield done my stuff for me, and it was brilliant. Couldn't forget. And they were the good on uprights. They were brilliant. Yeah. Then I went lay down, and Peter Johns done them then, and they were good. And then from then onwards, really, Zerke's stuff was good. Obviously, because it was my long track and Eastern Germany.
Yeah,
but all me cargo stuff. I've always got that soft spot for Brian, really, because he's a lovely bloke, and
love Brian.
Yeah, he makes me laugh, and
Got to get him on.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant.
Yeah,
it would be brilliant. I mean, there's so many stories that you sort of could tell.
Yeah, I loved him at Swindon. He was great at Swindon. He was good at Arena as well, when he was flying.
Yeah,
Wasn't
yeah, he was the first person in the National League to make a world final.
he? Yeah, I remember that was when Bo Peterson was there as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, 91.
Yeah,
Was it 91? I think it was 91.
Yeah, 91. Yeah, yeah. I think
I mean,
Brian had white leathers on and that.
That's it. He didn't start the season, and then they brought him in later on.
Yeah, very
and
good.
when him and Bo were together, that was classic.
Brilliant, wasn't it? Yeah, very good. Good times that was.
There were 3 Danes. Jan Pedersen.
Yeah.
Used to ride for Royal. He was another brilliant bloke, and them two. But I think them two, Bo and Brian, always picked on Jan because Jan was a lot younger.
Always picked on him. What are we talking about?
Everything.
Yeah. Was it? Did you have Did you have any favourite leathers or Kevlars over the years that you liked?
Not really. Saying that, I did. There was one time when my leathers weren't ready in time. I'd ordered them and they didn't turn up, and I had to borrow Matthew Street's pair. And they were. I think they were black and gold. And I'd used them on the Friday, and I was at Bradford on the Saturday, and I got there, and I hadn't had time to clean them.
Yeah.
I washed my bike, and obviously going from Kent to Bradford's not just around the corner. And I got there, and I got them out the bag, and Kelvin was riding with us. And he's like, mate, you ain't going to wear them. I was like, oh, what fucking else am I going to wear, Kelvin? Yeah. He said, look, wear these. And he gave me a set of his Jernbergs.
Nice.
Oh, and it was like unbelievably comfortable. And after that, I went and ordered, I think it's 3 or 4 sets.
Did you?
That's when I went pink.
Cool before the time I told you that pink.
It was, yeah. Obviously, there's something going on there because obviously I had John's ones my last year in the youth. Yeah. And then after that, Dad's like, no, you've got no pink. Have pink. I'm like, why pink, Dad? You have pink. I wanted sort of black, red, and blue or whatever, but no, Dad said, no pink. And I remember doing a drawing for me hot suits, and they were blue, white, and red. Well, when I got them, the side bit was meant to be red, was blue, then it was white, and then it was pink. Because Dad had changed them.
That's brilliant.
Oh, yeah, no, he's cool.
Did you have any superstitions?
Not really.
No.
I'm
weird ones, aren't
I always like fiddle with my gloves when I'm at the start line. I can never, and then you rip the things and you think shit, like you can never get them on far enough. Yeah, things like that. Or saying that, I've never worn green.
Oh, right.
The only time I wore a green pair of goggles, I'll never forget this for one reason or another, was at Lakeside in the daytime. And going into the 3rd and 4th corner, I T-boned Dino, and we're good mates. Me and Dino. And I sent him straight through the fence. And he's obliterated the fence and his bike. Well, obviously, doing that to an Eastbourne rider when you're against Bob, and I'm like, shit, what have I done?
Yeah.
So, there was a few words said and whatever. I didn't mean to do it, and I was sorry. Yeah. But he broke his bike off. Well, then when we went to the evening meeting at Eastbourne, as you drive down to the road towards the pits where the turnstiles are, there's Dino's bike outside there with a bucket. This is what happens to innocent riders. And I was like, right, okay.
Ouch.
So I was on, I'm thinking shit.
Yeah.
The first race, I put on these green goggles. Lo and behold, who's in the first turn? Me and Dino. Dino's dropped it. I've run over him and broke my collarbone.
Oh my God.
So I never wore green after that.
So it's the green goggles, I don't know.
Yeah, green Oakleys they were, with a blue lens.
Oh, sounds nice. Got them Have you? Yeah. That sounds cool.
I've got them in the workshop around a yellow Bell Moto 4, one of my collection.
You'll have to send me a picture of them. Sound good.
I will.
Love anything like that. I love all the bits and bobs, the helmets and goggles and stuff. You won obviously the British Under-21 title. What do you remember about that and the memories of that?
Yeah, it was good. That was the first year I'd gone to South Africa on my own when I was 17.
Yeah.
End of '93. And it made me grow up a hell of a lot. And as I've said before, I was sharing a room with Chris Manchester, riding on a little track every Friday.
Yeah.
Having to defend for yourself and look after yourself. It did, and I come back from there like a lot confident, probably a lot fitter, a lot more knowledgeable. And it was at Long Eaton. It wasn't the best of facilities, but the track was always good. Always enjoyed going there. And it was between me, Ben Savars, Clouting. I'm not too sure if Scotty was there and Lee Lanham. But yeah, I got a 15-point maximum. So, but I used Dino's levers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he left me a pair of levers. One hadn't turned up again, so I'd ordered them in time.
Yeah.
So it was on the front of the speedboat. Started me doing a wheelie on my red bike, but I had blue. Well, Dino's levers, blue with yellow checkers on.
Oh, hang on a minute. I might have a picture of this. I hope I put that one on. Let's have a look.
And it's funny because there's an old chap that's it. That's
beautiful. There you go.
That was that bike. There's an older chap, Glenn Blackcher from Leicester Way, I think. He's still got it and still rides it.
Does he?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Dean Barker popped up on Facebook earlier on when I put up a post advertising your interview and all that, and he mentioned it. And this.
Did it?
I forgot now. Yeah, I remember now. He put, there's my levers, and then your dad wrote underneath, he was borrowing such and such the levers.
Yeah.
I just remembered. Hang on,
1994. That was it. That was 95.
Because I see Scott.
That was that's funny. That was at Swindon, and
yes,
I top scored with 14 points. And then John Lewis said, "Oh no, we're going to have a final." I was like, "Yeah, but it's not in the program." He said, "No, but we're going to have a final." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's got to be in the program." No, it's a final, and that's when I come second.
Bloody hell! I think was that the one that did Scott win that one then?
Savalas Clouting.
Savalas Clouting. Oh, I remember Scott was because I was there.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, so Scotty was.
I remember.
He might be second, or I was second, or he's third. I don't know, but I know that year.
Yeah.
We all went to Latvia for the or for the quarter final of the under-21 because you went from there to the next round and then was it Latvia or Poland? I can't remember. But it's a funny story because Simo took me with my sponsor Roy, and we'd done the meeting. I think we all qualified, and on the way back, Simo's driving. It's pitch black. And we're in my Volkswagen Transporter. And we come through this S-bend, and there was a person walking on the right, obviously towards us, because we were driving on the right and stuff. And the lorry's come round and cut the corner.
Oh, dear.
Well, Simo's moved over, and he's whacked this bloke round the back of the head with my wind mirror. And it's woke us all up in the van.
Jesus.
And I'm like, fuck, mate, what was that? He said, I just hit someone. I said, you going to stop? And he laughed, and went, my fault.
Yeah.
Carried on.
Definitely not.
No, that was it. So, yeah, no.
All right, let's get a few of these pictures up now. We're on the pictures and get a few memories up. Yeah.
That was a quarter-final, semi-final at Lakeside.
Is that Ryan?
Ryan Sullivan and Jason.
Ryan Sullivan and Jason, yeah. It's another nice one.
That's the Pinard Prize. That's for the best under-21 motorcyclist. That's through trials, motocross, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Was that the thing you was on about the motorcycle news and all that as well? Yeah.
I think this is a different one.
Oh, was it?
I don't know for that. Yeah, I think it's just like a motorcycle club.
Oh, right.
For that. I think Zach won it last year or the year before. Me and Scotty.
Scotty. Oh, here's the one here we go, look.
Yes, me and Chris Manchester. That's the suit I was on about with Kelvin's levers on.
You got the shirt on, isn't it?
Yeah, that was it. Because that obviously the suit I borrowed. I then said, "Kelv, do you want to sell them until mine turn up?" And he said, "Yeah, you can buy them." And so I bought them and used them. Oxford days.
Is that when they had the old suits?
That's it. Yeah, and then obviously that's another Jernberg suit that I went and got made the same as them Lycra ones. Oh dear. Yeah, suspect, isn't it? That was last year, because I'm the England long track team manager now.
How'd you get into do that? How'd you get into that then?
Well, Mitchell Godden was doing it, and he handed it back because he felt he'd done enough. And I'm the vice chairman of the ACU track racing.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And they said, "Well, would you be up for it?"
Yeah.
And I said, well, "Yeah, it stops me riding, innit? So why not?"
Yeah.
So I've done it, and we'll see what happens next year.
Did you enjoy that?
It was different. For me, when I rode in it, it was always like an honour, and you wanted to be a world champion.
Yeah.
Some of them that rode in that, their commitment could have been a little bit better, but it's what it is, and you remember that and you move forward. Hopefully. That was my last year in 2010. It's quite strange, really, because the week before, 3 weeks before, I had the accident in France. I had a crash at Lakeside, and I shouldn't really have gone to France. I was on a maximum, and Doyle hit the air fence, come back across the track and cleaned me up, because I was up the inside, and I broke my fingers, 2 fingers, quite bad. So I went into hospital and I was going to operate on them, but they didn't. They said, "No, we'll wait and see what happens." I actually got into the operating theatre and was talking to them. They said, "Well, no, we've put them back in place. We're going to tape them and see how you go." I said, "Yeah, but I want to ride." They said, "Well, if we operate, you won't be riding. If you do as you're told and don't move them, you will be riding." So obviously I've done as I was told, rode on the Friday night, obviously, and then broke my legs on the Saturday.
Jesus Christ.
England. That was a cool team.
Yeah.
Like even now, we don't get things like that now, do we?
No. It's a shame, isn't it? Because that was good with the old Test Little Series and all sorts of.
Yeah.
It's cool, wasn't it? The Americans and Aussie.
And it's cool to be able to say that, like, all of them now, you can say that you're good mates with them, and if any time you would ask them if he was in dire straits, they would probably be there.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is.
Nice one there.
That's my Mond in 2001. I was fortunate enough to win that. So
nice little headline there, hammered.
Yeah.
Hope not literally.
You probably did get hammered that year.
Yeah. There's in our Oxford one there. Roscoe was talking earlier on. He commented on Facebook talking about the Oxford days. He actually he said for the scum. Because obviously doing that Swindon, you said for the scum, because he's obviously talking about the Swindon Oxford football stuff and all that.
Oh yeah, it was quite funny with Roscoe, because he's got art gold, Roscoe, and yeah, he's brilliant. It's funny.
Yeah, nice one.
That was last year.
Nice.
The belly gives it away.
Nice one there. Look, picture of the week. It was.
Yeah,
the picture of the week. Look.
I think that was Ipswich Test match.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Got a good one here. This must be the indoor one. Is that Greg? Or is that Greg or Billy?
Yeah, Greg and Screeney on the outside. I think that might have been the final. I'm sure it's the final. I think it was me, Greg, Boyce, and Joe. And he like with Joe again, he's one of my best mates, and we probably talk daily now.
Yeah. Top rider as well, wasn't
he? Yeah.
Oxford.
That was press day. I'll never forget that, because I turned up like that, and Hans Nielsen turned up to practice, and he had sort of similar black suit and blue crash helmet. Aero.
It's always good, is it? Is that a piece or not yours?
That was, I don't know what it was. That was when I was practicing in Australia on Hunter's bike.
How was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think he was taking pictures from behind, so I done that as a job. That was 96 at London, my London Lions.
Nice.
It was never,
as well.
Yeah. It's never quite the same at London when they changed it. That was the Grand Prix in Marmont in France.
Ah, right.
I'll never forget that, because that trophy, I've still got it in my workshop now. I went into the clubhouse and had like a display of all the trophies, and I was looking at them thinking, God, they're lovely trophies.
Yeah.
I'd like one of them. And then when I won, I looked up and there was that on top of the podium, and I was like, "What in the is that?" I was just like, "Why are they giving me this?" But when you look at it, it's all parts of a long track bike.
Right, okay.
It was a famous, I think it was a French artist that made it, and it cost them quite a bit of money to have it made. And he actually done a big statue in the centre of the town roundabout as well.
Bloody hell.
So I shall cash that in when I retire.
Yeah. You go there.
That's Telford.
Yeah, winning that. Got some good headlines on the front of the Speedway Stars, I noticed when I was going through them all. You go up, like a hurry. Hurrying up.
Got punished for having a dodgy name.
Yeah. That's not nice, Lewis.
Yeah, that was the Jan Bergs. I think that was 95. That was in Cornwall for the European semi-final. Not many weeks after that is when it all went tits up with me legs.
That's going back.
That is. That's like I said to you earlier on. That is in a field just down the road from me back in 1985, and we used to live probably, I don't know, 60 miles away. Yeah. But now I go cycling most days, and I pass that field every time and look in there and remember it with great memories.
This is a good headline.
Yeah.
Like a hurricane.
That was the indoor.
Yeah. That's nice. I like that headline.
There you go. That was the team.
There you go.
I don't know where Simo was, because he was in that team. I think he broke his collarbone and it wouldn't heal, and they replaced him with either Stefan Dano or Alan Johansson.
Oh, yeah. Stefan Dano. I remember him as well. Yeah, he's good.
Roland Dano, sorry.
Oh, right. Okay.
Remember his brother?
It's his brother. Yeah.
He's the one now next to me.
That is going back again, isn't it?
Yeah, 1987. Look at that dodgy lot.
The old team ones come in there, look.
Yeah, they were good then. It looks nice. It was a cool place.
It does it doesn't.
Again, that was another Grand Prix in France. That was the first one, I think. The first one I won. That was in L'Oréal in 96. The thing is, there, I think I was second. I don't know if I won or I was second. I can't remember. And I thought I'd do a wheelie. Well, the track's like a 800-900 meter track. Well, like a dickhead, I've pulled this wheelie, sort of going running pace. Well, the sprocket we had on the back wheel, to get the front wheel up, you have to get the revs up. Well, obviously, when you get the revs up, you start going quicker.
Yeah.
Well, straight, I'm doing that wheelie. I'm thinking, look, I'm doing about sort of 60, 70 mile an hour. If this goes wrong,
we're in big trouble. Yeah. That's a nice one. Looks almost like both wheels were off the ground then, don't he?
Yeah, that was a photo taken by Alan Whale. Bless him. He's no longer with us, bless him. He was the best photographer by a long way for Grasstrack.
Yeah, that's a really good shot as well, wasn't it? Really good shot.
Yeah. That was at the old Middlesbrough.
Oh, was it? Was that Paul? Riding for Paul there?
Yeah, riding for Paul, yeah. I don't know I don't know if that was at Lakeside, you know.
Was it?
Riding for Port Lakeside, yeah.
What was that ever like coming back to Arena Essex or Lakeside with another team? That must have been quite...
It was lovely when I went back there with Swindon.
Yeah.
We got about 15 or 16 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
First time you won that.
Yeah. It was dodgy early on in my career because I wasn't that experienced and I always used to make a few mistakes and charging under people. But later on, when you sort of learn your lesson, it was nice. That's a recent one as well. Local grass track. Nice. Looks like I'm on a MotoGP bike there, doesn't it?
Got that nice wheelie going on again there.
That was at Oxford. That was when we all had to do like a press launch at the beginning of 2000. We all went there for a practice and
got a few more. Yeah, a few more.
That was last year at semi-final.
Like one of these ones on this thing where they have the.
Look at that Buffon hairdo. That was actually the day that he was whistling.
Was it?
Yeah.
I was just about to say, is that your boy?
Yeah. Yeah, bless him. He's just
whistling.
He actually got COVID 3 weeks ago. He went to university and caught it in Brighton University and had to self-isolate for 14 days on his own, bless him. But he's over it now.
He's all good.
Yeah, he's all good now. So he's mega proud of him.
And the other two I had left was obviously I had to get the motocross bikes in as well.
Yeah, that's at work.
And I got on one more, yeah.
Yeah, that was when I had to take that to meet Dave Fult's son, Ryan.
Yeah, yeah.
And the N4 and meet
him. Face Honda, yeah.
That's
I spotted that. Nice bikes.
I'd like that.
Yeah, I mean, what team ride? I was just thinking about that. It's about team riders. What was your favourite riders to team ride with?
Probably Mogo. Anyone really. I think it's probably from sort of watching Kelly Moran, Sean Moran as a kid at Hackney. You sort of get that understanding, and watching Andy Galvin as well, team ride. He was unbelievable. And then the friendship that I got with sort of Screeny and Mark. As a kid, they was always like my big brothers, and I was always looking up to them. And then when I got a chance to ride with them, it was nice, and I knew what they were going to do. Whether they knew what I was going to do, probably they'd have to answer that. But yeah, there's a picture somewhere of me and Mark when I was running freespawn at Poole, and we can only have been sort of 5 or 6 inches away from each other, but we've charged into the dirt.
Yeah. And
he probably thought he's going to nail me, but I knew that I wasn't because I was sort of in control.
Yeah.
So them two probably, and yeah.
Phil Alkin put, did you keep any of your race jackets or leathers from your career? I think you mentioned.
Yeah, I've got most of my race jackets. I've got. Nice. I've got a few sets of leathers or nylons, whatever they were. But actually, my dad managed to find my first ever leather suit when I was like 7. I've got that back.
Has he?
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I've got that hanging up in my wardrobe with my other suits.
Very nice bit of memorabilia that is. Jeanette Hubbard put Glenn Boucher, so that ringed a bell as well. Glenn Boucher, you got a mention from Paul Hurry.
Yeah, he's got me on my old bike that I won the under-21 on.
That's really cool. Phil Elkin as well put Speedway's too expensive for a lot of young riders today, and they really struggle to make it pay.
Yeah, they do. It's like I said before with that guy from Sweden, and he hadn't even got a team.
That's crazy, isn't it? And he spent all that money as well.
Yeah,
madness, isn't it?
It is crazy.
Charlie Arnold put, did you ever ride at Crawford, or was that too early?
Crayford. It was too early, but I was there every Tuesday. Sat next to it was Paul Woods, who was number 1, and then Barry Thomas, or the other way around. And it's brilliant because today I'm good friends with both of them, and to sort of be a little boy now there to sort of that's all I ever wanted to be, was like them.
Oh, he changed the name. Like, he put Crawford and then he changed it to Crayford after.
Yeah.
Trying to catch me out there, isn't he? It worked. You become obviously the European Grasstrack champion as well. What does that mean to you?
Hell of a lot, really. Bit of a different day. It's wet and sticky, but you have to plough on and get these things done. Obviously, been involved in the racing for as long as we have, and Dad's sort of nearly getting there, but not quite. To be able to sort of finish the job off as such and win something, it was nice. And to be honest, there's a few years previous to that that I felt that I should have won it. One was in a track in Holland, and the night before I dislocated and my knee, but it come out and my knee or my ankle was on my arse cheek.
Bloody hell.
And they couldn't get it back. So they put me in the ambulance, took me off to hospital. So I spent the whole night with my ankle touching my arse cheek. And they put the side of the bed up with it resting against there.
Wow.
And had the operation the next morning to release it.
Bloody hell.
But yeah, going back, I should have maybe won the European final on that day.
Yeah.
But it's what it is, isn't it? You just.
Phil said, do you ever see Moggo or Andy Galvin these days?
I've seen Andy a few times. Yeah, Moggo every now and then I see him. I think he's busy working and doing what he's doing. Andy, yeah, he's doing well for himself. He's got like a car trade spotter that he goes out and picks up new cars and cars from the auction. So I see a lot of them, and yeah, they're mates for life, really.
Awesome. You won the Elite League with Eastbourne, wasn't it?
And Wolverhampton, yeah.
What was your memories of them two doing that? It's been pretty cool.
Great times, because obviously at Eastbourne, Screeny was there, and I was really good mates with Martin and Dino and Floppy. Mm-hmm. And being local as well, and sort of practicing there as a kid all the time, and then doing that, it was awesome. And like I said, like Bob and Margaret, they're like family. Well, you are part of the family when you ride for them. And even to this day, I go down there and see them, and it's just, well, again, you're lifelong friends, aren't you? And again with Wolverhampton,
yeah.
It's funny because you seem to win these things, and it creates a special bond.
Yeah. Always remember it.
You're always there with them, and yeah, it's like obviously with the PK thing, working with him, and yeah, that
was a nice one, wasn't it? That was nice.
Yeah, it was, and it's great to have them memories to look back on, and a few of the race jackets and Wolf Sport jumpers, whatever.
Can't take those memories away. It's beautiful.
No.
What do you actually think of the GP series and all that?
I think for Speedway, it's good. Don't know whether I still think a world final with the atmosphere and the build up and is good.
Yeah.
But as for the long track, I'm going to get slated for this. It's run by a bunch of wankers. It's wrong. You cannot have a world long track as a Grand Prix series.
Yeah.
It's not right. I mean, why would you call it the world long track and have it on a speedway track?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's a bit of a weird one.
It's weird, and it sport the occasion because they're trying to sort of have the idea that it's as good as a speedway Grand Prix, but it's not. It's totally different. Long track isn't like speedway.
Yeah.
It's not as fast and as close, and it's different. It's on 1,000 metres. That's why it's called long track. In my opinion, they should have maybe a world grass track final, and a world long track final.
Yeah.
But again, it is the hierarchy. You have obviously the FIM.
Down to them,
it comes down to finance, yeah.
Charlie Arnold's just come on and put, who was your best promoter and why?
Well, I've got to go with sort of Chris Van Straten, Terry Russell. Obviously, I'd have quite a few spells under Terry, and Bob Dugar. All three of them, they're still there. They're still Bob obviously would have still been involved.
Yeah.
And it is, I mean, it's with Terry. It was, again, it's probably another lifelong friend, really, because when Dad was going to Crayford, he was actually working at Goddens and doing the engines for some of the riders. And I remember I could have only been 3 or 4. We had to go to Terry's house to pick up some engines. And we went in and had a cup of tea, and whether Terry remembers that, I'm not too sure. But I was only a toddler.
Yeah.
So.
Was there any riders you didn't really get on with? Didn't like racing with?
Not really.
No, that's good.
No, if they give it to me, I'll give it back. With like Nicky, Nicky, you know what he's going to get, and off the track, you cannot meet a nicer person. An absolutely brilliant person. Always got time for people, respects people.
Yeah.
He doesn't forget where he's come from, but on it, he just wants to win, and you know what to expect. And I don't understand the riders that slate him, because at the end of the day, he's been world champion.
Yeah.
And you don't do that. Well. You don't do that if you're an idiot.
No, that's for sure. No, that's for sure. Who are your closest friends in Speedway? And how easy was that to sort of block that friendship out a little bit when it was competitive?
It was easy, really. Joe Screen, definitely. Mark,
Mark.
Definitely. Scotty, recently we've sort of become closer mates. And we phone up each other during the week and have a chat. Screeny, as I said, we're there for each other whenever. And Mark, although with Mark we don't talk, but we always know that shit comes to shove, we'd be there. But yeah, even like when we was riding together, like Dino as well, he's always been a lifelong friend.
Yeah.
But it's different, isn't it? When you put your crash helmet on, you go out there, you're an individual, but you've got that respect. I mean, with Dino, every time we went out, we ended up crashing with each other.
Yeah.
We're best of mates off the track, and then we're just like, what?
Yeah, you always come together. Yeah.
Two magnets, but
yeah,
no, it is them really. And obviously, yeah, bless him, Simo was a real good mate.
What riders do you like watching now? If you watch, say, a GP or anything, is there any riders that sort of excite you to watch them race?
Yeah, Doyley, Bartosz, Robert. I mean, when you something that frustrates me is watching Scotty, because you watch Scotty on a bike and he's so smooth, but he's obviously, things have changed now. If you had what Bartosz or the budget that Bartosz has got, it'd still be there at the top. But yeah, when you watch the top boys like Ty, Bartosz, then Freddie's not too bad, but sometimes it's a bit of it and open, isn't
it? Yeah.
But I think he might knock on the door soon.
Yeah. He's obviously you won stuff as an individual and as a team, man. Did you prefer either? Did you prefer to be part of a team, or did you like the riding individually as well?
I enjoyed it all, really. As a team, it's nice because when you ride grass track and long track on a weekend, come back to mix with the boys and have a good laugh. That's nice to sort of go to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the camaraderie, really, just the chats and the things you get up to.
Yeah, quite a few of them.
One of the ones I was going to tell you is quite funny. When I was in South Africa, there was me, Chris Manchester, and this Polish rider. I think he was actually the one that crashed with Per when Per had his accident.
Oh, was it?
What
was his name?
Christoph something, I think. It was weird second name. I'll never forget. He didn't really speak a lot of English, but he was a little bit. He was all right, but he was a bit of a throttle jockey. And
was he?
He'd done something to me and Chris, or ignored us or something.
Yeah.
So in our rooms, you lock the doors. Well, he left his boots outside on the Thursday, and we rode on the Friday.
Yeah.
So I know what we do. Get the drawers out the freezer. We'll fill his boots up with water and put them in the freezer. So that's what we've done. We come out in the morning. We thought the water might have come out of the boots, but it didn't. It stayed in there.
Bloody hell.
Boots are full of ice. But obviously, by the time you put them on, they defrosted but were soaked.
That's brilliant. Well, I'll ask you one more before we go. We've been here for 3 hours and 15 minutes. That's flown by, isn't it?
I've never talked so much in my life.
It's been great fun, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's been good.
Enjoyed it, mate. I'll ask you one more thing. Did you have any regrets of your Speedway career at all?
No. Maybe I could have been a little bit lighter at times, a bit fitter.
Yeah.
You know. I've done, like I said to you before, I've done what I wanted to do. As a kid, I wanted to be a speedway rider. I've done that. I got me 2 bikes or 4 bikes that I had to wash on the Monday morning. That put paid to that.
Yeah.
No, I've sometimes I regret that I didn't go to Poland more when I was that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
everyone's coming in saying great interview, top guy, Paul. I agree.
Yeah, that's been cool.
Really enjoyed it, mate. I appreciate the time, mate.
No worries.
Awesome. Really appreciate it, mate.
Give us a shout.
We'll keep in touch as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Enjoyed our chats. And like I said, I'd love to get you down if we get that motocross meeting next year. It'd be cool to get you down and have a chat and have a couple of drinks and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be good. Cool.
Yeah, it'd be really good. We'll keep in touch anyway. Thanks to your dad as well. I'll keep in touch with your dad. He's given me great contacts.
He knows a few.
Yeah, he's like a little agent for me at the moment.
No,
I'm gonna have to send him some presents or something.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Paul.
All right, cheers, mate.
Take it easy, mate. Really appreciate it. Speak to you soon. Thanks, mate. Thanks a lot. Cheers, bud. Thanks. What a man. Another awesome interview. What a great guy Paul Hurry is as well. It's been lovely meeting him, and I've had some great chats with him as well in the last week or so, and I'll definitely keep in touch with Paul. Hopefully get to meet him in person one day as well. That'd be great. Great interview. Thank you very much, Bronick. Good interview. Paul, stay safe. Paul, you're my hero. Jack Benfold. Thanks ever so much, people. Much appreciated. Another really cool long one that flew by. I didn't even actually realise how long we've been on until I just looked up in the last 5-10 minutes and think, Jesus, it's gone like over 3 hours. Could talk to that guy all night and into tomorrow. Yeah, great guy, Paul Hurry. Really enjoyed that. Definitely going to keep in touch with that man. Really enjoyed it. Right, anything I need to say before I go? I have literally I updated you guys on that last night on that Stefan Everts shirt. I've literally only got about 5 or 6 tickets left on that Stefan Everts shirt, people. So if anyone wants to get involved in that before we do the live draw for that, literally only 5 or 6 tickets left for that. And then at the weekend, I shall be revealing the new bike competition. That'll be amazing. So I'll bring that to you guys as well. So, right, I'm going to get off for some tea, nice and late again. Hopefully the missus has not tried to feed the tea to the dog. Great interview, Lee. Definitely need a part 2. Yes, I really enjoyed that. Like I said, I could have carried on speaking to Paul for another couple of hours easily into tomorrow. But I know he'll have to get up tomorrow, I'm sure, and go and work at the dep pipes, DP. Love them. But yeah, really enjoyed that. That was really cool. And I'm definitely keeping in touch with Mr. Hurry. Top man, and his dad. Great guy. Yeah, so I'll speak to you all soon, people. Have to leave you obviously on my it's actually would have been my dad's birthday tomorrow as well. Bloody 5 years gone already without the old man. Soon flies by. Yeah, it doesn't get any easier. So hopefully I'll get up there tomorrow night and go and visit the old grave and everything. Say my happy birthday greetings to the old boy. Yeah. So I've got a night off tomorrow. And then I'll be back on Thursday with Jake Nichols, British sensation of motocross. Unlucky not to be British champion a couple of times already by now, with a couple of injuries that intervened with that. Thank you very much, Phil. Gone but never forgotten, that's for sure, mate. And that's another thing where I sort of got into this. It's all about reminiscing of all of our memories. That's one thing they can't ever take away from any of us, whether we've retired or not. Can't take away the memories, that's for sure. Don't know, there's no name on that one. Your dad was a lovely guy. Thank you very much, whoever said that. Appreciate that. So yeah, you might probably see an emotional post at some time tomorrow, I'm sure. Saying happy birthday to the old boy. Yeah. So I'm going to leave on exactly that, Phil. Memories last a lifetime, and that's why I think it's so special that you can you get personal with these guys with the interviews. It's lovely to reminisce with all these guys. Amazing to be speaking to your idols and heroes of all the years I was growing up in the 80s and 90s while I was doing motocross, going to Speedway, which obviously has always been a part of my life as well. So it's amazing to do that. It's really cool. Never get old, that won't, that's for sure. And that's what it's all about, is sharing the memories. So hopefully we'll be sharing a lot more memories. Definitely got loads and loads of interviews arranged, so I'll be bringing them all to you people. So I hope you keep enjoying them. And yeah, I'll speak to you all soon. So I'll be back Thursday night with Jake Nichols, 7 p.m. UK time, and then I'll keep you updated on anything else that's going after that. And then obviously I'll do a shirt live draw for the Stefan Evett signed shirt as soon as I've got rid of those last 5 or 6 tickets that I've got left. Your dad was a lovely guy, from Colin Ridgerson. Thanks ever so much, Colin. You're a top man. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Good night, mate. Good night, Phil. Thanks very much. So good night and God bless everyone. I'll leave you with the same quote that my dad always left for me in those last few years of his. He always used to say this to me, and definitely trying to live by that rule now. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. So I'll leave it on that, shall we? Take it easy, people, and I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks very much for everyone that come on tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. See you guys. Ciao, Bella.